Dada. Yo, me man, break back. That's when I put that paper. After that was it, I had that.
Why? Why does it do that? I don't understand why it does it, but it does it, and I don't get it. Anyway, welcome to Press Pass Live. Thank you for hanging out with me. I got my guy Maniac with me. He popped in right after we got started, so I didn't even get to say hello to him or anything. Mr. Maniac, how you doing tonight, bud?
Nah, I'm doing wonderful, man. Kind of exciting new Madden with the. I mean, we've already been playing Madden for a couple months with the first OMFL draft and all the excitement that rolls around that, and of course, you get to see D-Money take, a cornerback.
I cannot believe that. I just absolutely cannot believe that he did that.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling. Yeah, it's who would ever thought, right?
I think every draft show and every Press Pass Live should start the way this one's starting. A nice, fresh, warm cookie right here with me. Mr. Maniac, let's go ahead. Let's talk about what we've seen so far, and then we can kind of talk about the offseason as a whole. So let me get my controller going here. Here's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to kind of set the stage of what's happened up to this point, and then we're going to kick off the draft at 8 o'clock. So here in just a little bit, what time is it right now? It's like 7:40. So another 20 minutes. We'll officially get started. Until then, the pause draft is going to be going here. Do a lot of talking. We have a lot of fun. In the fourth round, we're going to start bringing on people for interviews. So if you want to be interviewed, all you got to do is pop into the OMFL voice chat. I'm going to ask Mr. Maniac to help me kind of manage that. So you're going to DM him, say, hey, I want to go. He's going to tell you when you're going to be up. Stay muted. We'll unmute you. We'll do a quick little interview. We're going to talk about it. And we're going to have a lot of fun. Logan, that was a really good tight end. I really wanted him. My pick was between the tight end that you took, the receiver that the Steelers took, and one other player that hasn't gone yet. And I won't say because I want him to drop to me, and I doubt it's going to happen. I was hoping that tight end would have dropped, but clearly that tight end was not going to drop. So really good pick by you with Herbert because I really liked him. So again, we'll do interviews in the fourth round. Make sure you pop in here and come talk to Maniac and I. Maniac, here we are. Let me run through these picks really quick. Damian Mullins, a defensive tackle, goes to my Saints. Carlos McGowan, defensive tackle, goes to the Colts. Jarrett Bone goes to wide receiver, goes to the Commanders. A lot of wide receivers here early in the first round. Earl Lowry, a wide receiver, goes to the Jets. Perry Tyson, wide receiver, goes to the Seahawks. Tahaje Richard? It's hard to see these names. I'm getting old and I can't see with my contacts. Wide receiver goes to the New England Patriots. Larry Dorsett, defensive tackle, goes to the Rams. Alani Craig, wide receiver, goes to the Eagles. Is it Blanchard? I don't know. It looks like it's cut off or something. Anyway, Archer, right outside linebacker, he goes to the Chiefs. Herbert, who we were just talking about with Mr. Logan in the chat, tight end, best tight end by far in the draft, he goes to the Rams. Marcus Bronson, defensive tackle, goes to the Houston Texans. Ladarius Daniels, cornerback, goes to the Miami Dolphins. Andrew Hunt, cornerback, goes to the San Francisco 49ers. He's probably the fastest player in the whole league. And Jesse Fargas, quarterback, goes over to the Detroit Lions. And, we've seen Detroit have a couple of really good quarterbacks in their day. What's up, Bird? What's up, Bill? Guys, remember, come jump in here in the voice chat in the fourth round if you want to be interviewed. Maniac, I want to eat my cookie. What do you think about the first round so far?
It's pretty interesting looking at that. I mean, it's dominated by wide receivers and defensive linemen pretty much until like the last couple of picks. We had the cornerbacks come off the board, and I think there's going to be a couple guys in here that are going to be really good. I think your guy Mullins, I think he's going to be an instant impact on your defensive line. I think it's going to help you out. And then looking at the Jets, I think Earl Lowry or whatever his name, I think he's going to be probably a shoe-in to be one of the top wide receivers, especially young wide receivers. But I do think, just kind of throwing out like an odd thing, it's kind of funny that both Los Angeles teams have a guy named Herbert on their team. So Justin
That's
Herbert
right.
and now Jeremiah Herbert. So
Sorry. Let's try and finish this cookie. Maniac usually can talk for 5 minutes without one little question, so I figure I have plenty of time to get this thing
The
eaten.
time you need me to talk, then I just, I stop talking. So. I do think it's interesting, though, that the Lions did draft a quarterback here. I don't know if his guy's going to be dropping in for, his attributes going to be dropping in past 30, or is it a salary type thing that he's looking at, or just looking at a backup? But definitely, if you're going to take a quarterback, that was probably the place to take it, because there's not a whole lot there from what I saw.
I absolutely agree. I love Herbert. I like Larry Dossett. The Rams have had a really solid draft here early on. I love Earl Lowry. I said Steelers a while ago, but I meant Jets. Still Steelers in my head because of Cincy Berg. But I don't know if Andrew Hunt was the fastest cornerback, but I'm pretty sure he was. And so to see him go to San Francisco is kind of like, well, that sucks. Because he just keeps stocking away talent. He still has the 27th pick and the 18th pick in this first round. So, I mean, why we do these things to ourselves, I'll never understand, but it is what it is. And onward and upward as we move on. I think we're going to be stuck on the Cardinals until we get going. Let's see if we can't go back over here and look at some transactions. Hold on, what do I need to do here? Let me do this. My old eyes, I cannot hardly see nothing anymore. Here we go. Let's go to league transactions. We're going to look at some of these free agent signings, at least any of the top ones that happen. See if we can go through this here a little bit. Man, this is so stupid hard to see. Look, the Browns, new defensive core, a couple of new coaches being signed here. So some guys making some moves on the coaching realm here. Cowboys signed a right guard. I'm going to just look for big names here, but you stop me if you think there is a big name that we've skipped. Kelvon Chassson, I know him because of LSU. Kind of a speedster rush defensive end. He's going to go try to help out Houston. Now, he's still a bit of a project. He's aging 1 year, a little over $7.5 million. Not a terrible contract because it's 1 year. Take the shot, see what happens, and see if he can not, pay off some big dividends there. Trey Flowers goes to the Jets.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting one.
Dan Moore's going to go to the Jets. Trey Flowers starting to get up there in age. We know that players are really falling off the edge as they age, so it'll be interesting just to see, how much can he get out of him. Cowboys signed a punter, somebody they'll probably never use. Trey Brown signing with the Lions. Kareem Hunt, who's now a fullback, signs with the Packers. God, I never thought that would be a thing. Elijah Mitchell, halfback from North Louisiana, played for San Francisco. Now he's going to go play with Cleveland. Mo Alley Cox, didn't even know he was still in the league. He's going to go play for Bill and his Giants. Let's see what the chat's saying real quick. Bird says golf salary goes from $20 million to $74 million next season. Tim says, I wanted a defensive lineman, but all the guys I wanted were gone. This is the last season golf on my team. He will use the bonus removal to cut golf after the season. Tim, I'm surprised you weren't trying to develop, was it Hendrickson? No, what's his name? Hooker, Hendon Hooker. I know he's aging, but still, I thought there was something there you could build. Christian Kirk, he's going to go play for the Patriots. That's going to be a big play receiver for him. Quandre Diggs signed with the Rams, so the Rams really trying to get athletic, trying to get some speed. 2 years, $14 million. They can be big spenders, and clearly he didn't mind spending it this offseason. Joshua Palmer, he's going to go play for the Washington Commanders. Miles Jack, He's going to go play for Mr. Tim and the Detroit Lions. Greg Gaines, the defensive tackle, got 2 years, almost $12.5 million to go play for Green Bay. Panthers and Mr. Bird got him a kicker. Javon Kinlaw, he's going to go play for Houston. So Houston's big spenders here in free agency, but look like they've got a couple of one-year guys, so kind of trying to be a smart spender there.
Right. You see I think it kind of free agency, looking at all these pickups, you see it's kind of driven by a lot of offensive linemen and wide receiver type speed guys. Everybody kind of, that's at the top of the list for everybody. It seems like to get a speedy wide receiver, and then you see that in the draft too. You know, a lot of guys trying to go after speed for wide receiver, but you can kind of see that though again through the free agency. A lot of those speed guys went in the first round pretty quick, and then guys really kind of filling up their or bolstering their offensive line early on in the free agency, and then kind of filling out the roster throughout that last stage.
Big Hurt, feel free to jump in here. I know you usually do a draft show at the same time. Looked like you didn't get to do one tonight, so if you want to jump in with us, you're more than welcome to. Brandon Cooks, after a really solid year and a pretty fairly decent game, not an amazing game in the bowl game, but he got a couple of grabs. He's going to go play for the New York Giants and Mr. Beal. Drew Lock is still in the league. He's going to go play for Houston. Xavier Woods, a good player, is going to go play for the Bengals. Kelvin Joseph over to Houston. Man, David Long Jr. signed a 5-year, $55.5 million deal with the Raiders, a right outside linebacker. I don't even know who this is, and I'm pretty good at staying up with players. So evidently a guy that has athleticism, playmaking ability. He got paid to go play for the Raiders.
Yeah, let me pull it up because I'm kind of curious what his...
Von Miller, 1 year, $13.7 million deal to go play for the Cardinals. Is his career starting to sunset? Good luck stopping that user. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, okay. David Long is 28. He's only at 82 overall, 85 speed, 88 acceleration.
What's his strength?
91 tackle.
Yeah, that's good.
The block shed's only 78, so that's kind of low.
What's his strength?
Strength is only 74, and his man coverage and zone coverage is only 53 and 58. Ooh. So that's...
So maybe a rush player in like a 3-4. It looks like you spent a little money. Joseph Asai, I think I'm saying that right. 3 years, $20 million to go play for your Bills. DJ Shark, I wanted DJ because I'm an LSU fan. I just couldn't afford to pay another receiver, but 2 years, $9.2 million. KJ Hamler, he got a deal to go play for the Panthers. I probably got this wrong, so I'm going to own it up front, but it feels like he's played for the Panthers before. He got a 3 year, almost $15 million deal.
Yeah, he was with my Bills. I just could never get him on the field. He was a good punt returner, kick returner, and that may be kind of what Bird is going to use him for. And he was on his team, I think, last Madden.
Jameis Winston, he's going to go play for the Giants. Derek Carr with the Vikings. Didn't even know those guys are still alive. Connor McGovern, another ex-Saint player, going to play for the Giants. Kind of looking for some big contracts. Here's one. Tyler McLaughlin. He got a 3 year, $21.3 million deal to go play for the Minnesota Vikings. They were big spenders. It looked like he handed out a couple of big contracts here.
Yeah, I think he was really spending some money, and he was also making a lot of moves with trades and stuff as well.
Cole Holcomb and Shaq Thompson each got 2 year, $17.5 million deals to go play for Miami. So they're starting to invest in that linebacker position. Kadarius Toney got a 3-year, $20 million deal to go play for the Cardinals. Man, the Raiders are big spenders. Another 5-year, $44.5 million contract for Tyrell Dotson, a name I've sort of heard, but that feels like a lot of money for a player that isn't like an absolute superstar.
Yeah, if I was the Raiders, I might be a little bit worried about your cap down the road, unless he's got a lot of guys he's feeling like they're going to retire, after the season. Because I think I saw where he used up all his contract restructures and everything already in season starting of season 2. So later on, that could be a factor. So maybe he's kind of putting all of his eggs in the basket for this season and make a push really for a big run.
Let's run through a couple more of these. We got 5 minutes before the draft starts here tonight. Xavier Howard's going to go play for the Falcons on a nice deal. Dolphins signed Jamal Adams. Daniel Jones going to go play for the Falcons. Greedy Williams, I really wanted him too. I'm a sucker for LSU guys. I just couldn't pull the trigger. He's going to go play for the Falcons. Cody Whitehair got a good deal. James Daniels got a good deal to go play for the Giants. A 3-year, $32 million deal for Justin Reed to go move over to the LA Rams. Hubbard got a pretty good deal. Vikings, a 1-year, $14.3 million deal for Morgan Moses. A 3-year, $45 million deal for Cameron Robinson to go play for the Commanders. So some big money spenders out there. The Eagles signed Yair Gross-Matos right in. He's going to go play for the Eagles on a 3-year, $23 million deal. So a couple guys got really paid. Defensive tackle Milton Williams got a 3-year, $20 million deal. Zach Wilson got a 4-year, $23 million deal to go play for the Eagles. So a couple of big spenders, and finally the last one that we'll kind of cover here, a 4-year, $45.6 million deal for wide receiver Marquise Brown. Marquise, a speedster, a little fella, but he's already got some speed over there in Indianapolis. I keep wanting to say Orlando, so that's where he moved the team last Madden. So they're going to be looking to get rolling here pretty soon. We got a couple more minutes. We're still stuck here on the Cardinals, so hopefully he shows up here pretty soon. I know he said he was about 20 minutes away, and that was about 20 minutes ago, but at 8 o'clock sharp, we're going to hit the go button, and we're going to get rolling here. The Cardinals, pretty solid season last year. Probably needs to get that offense built up a little bit better. He is really good at identifying key playmakers. He's already started to invest into some of that defensive line. We covered them in free agency. What do you think the Cardinals are going to do?
Let's see. Kind of looking at his roster, I think if I was him, I'd probably be attacking offensive line. Because his offensive line is really weak. He's got a lot of age. His left guard center are only 70, 71. Basically his right guard, Hernandez is his best offensive lineman. I guess Paris Johnson also is his best. So, but definitely could use some help there. Is his ends, defensive ends also. Nicholas is 28, only a 72 overall. Shaq Lawson, 31, 70 overall. And then you got Von Miller, which is his best defensive end, and he's 36. So, he's not probably going to be there next year. So I think he's going to have to invest in the Hogs on either side of the ball right here. So, and
where was this maniac when I was trying to eat a cookie? We got the Cardinals coming up here soon, probably right after we start this draft. Bengals, Titans, 49ers, Carolina Panthers, and then the New England Patriots before we get to the Green Bay Packers, the Ravens, the Dolphins, the Broncos, Bears, Falcons, 49ers, my Saints again, the Texans, the Chargers, the Steelers, and the Cowboys, and that's going to wrap up round one. And as we're waiting to get going here, a good question for Mr. Cincyberg. Again, Big Herd, if you want to pop in, feel free to hit me up. I'll try to look at Discord, but just come jump and chat. We're going to start taking interviews whenever we get to the fourth round. round. We got 1 more minute left to go. His question was, did you take the biggest need or the can't miss best available type player? I know you traded away your first round pick, so you haven't picked yet. I was torn. I was trying to get out of the first round pick. I knew all the receivers were going to go early. I did not need a receiver. I did not want a receiver. I thought somebody would come up there to get their guy. I had one call, and it was from the Seahawks. We just couldn't work out a deal. It was my fault, not his. He put a good offer on the table. I just couldn't pull the trigger on it. No one else even remotely asked what it was going to take. And so here we are, stuck with the first round pick. I just ended up taking the best player at the most need that I had. I was down to 3 players. One is still there, so I won't say who it is. The tight end, or 4 players. The tight end who went to the Rams, the receiver who went to the Jets, the defensive end, the right end that I took, and then one other player. And looking at my roster, defensive end was probably the biggest area of need. And so I just went with the player that I could get the best on it. You kind of did, Raj, but it felt like sort of not a real offer. It was sort of like, I love you, so here's an offer, so you'll stop saying in chat that you didn't get any offers. Guys, we're going to get rolling here. Let me get this thing going. If you, Mr. Maniac, were drafting, how do you sort of view draft picks? Do you take can't miss? Do you take biggest need?
It depends on where I'm picking at. If I'm picking in top 10, I've got to take like the best available guys, and even if it's like somebody that I really don't maybe possibly need a helping hand at a certain position, but if he's the best guy and can turn into a superstar, I've got to go with him. With my run I had this season, that's the reason why I was sitting at 31. I wanted to trade back because I can get more value getting the extra pick for myself in those middle rounds. And I don't really have a tremendous need anywhere. I could maybe use a backup quarterback. Probably that's about the only spot that I'm really not looking good at, but I can always use like guys that are good developmental guys that are on the cusp of being a solid starter, like within a couple years, give them a little XP, and train them up through the season. But I tried to get my roster set up to where I didn't have to reach for a guy that where I was already at least set I could compete where I'm at now, and then just build off of that, and hopefully maybe strike gold, somebody that slips through the cracks or something, and I get one of these really great players at a bargain.
Guys in the chat, please let me know as I'm supposed to skip players if they're just not online. I don't want to sit here and wait, and we're probably going to speed this thing up by the time we get to the 4th round. We'll start taking interviews, and I'm probably going to speed it up and make an announcement. I'm not fully sure how much time it will be after. There used to be a setting. I don't remember seeing that setting. Maybe there was. Excuse me. Too much cookie. Sean Kelly, defensive tackle. Biggest surprise for me has not been receiver, even though there's been a lot of receivers. Defensive tackle. Carlos McGowan goes 2 overall. Larry Dorsett goes 7 overall. Lamarcus Bronson goes 11th overall. And now 15th overall, Sean Kelly. 4 defensive tackles off the board already. That one's a bit of shock to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's everybody's kind of trying to bolster up that center of their defense. And if you look at a lot of the guys that had success getting into the playoffs were the guys that could run the ball, and the guys that struggled were the guys that couldn't stop the run of the other team's offense. So maybe that's a sign that these guys here in this top 15 are trying to bolster their run defense.
Yep, there's always that surprise that catches me off guard, and that is definitely one of them. Defensive tackle took it hard in the Diddy door with regression. I guess they did. Jamal McFadden, right guard, going to go over to Kobe and the Tennessee Titans. That's going to be them and the Jets are 2 teams specifically. I'd probably also include maybe Kansas City, maybe the Patriots, maybe the Rams, all those 5 teams. Like, I really got my eye on them. Jets, Titans, because they took over bad teams with their great coaches. Patriots, because I feel like he's a very good coach and he's built hell of a talent over there. And the Rams just step in here and they have bolstered a roster that was really decimated and old. So I think those teams are really catching my eye, and I'm excited to see sort of what they do.
Yeah, definitely. They've like you said, you mentioned the Rams and stuff. He made some definite big moves in the offseason, dropping a couple of guys that were big money grabbers from his team. They were getting old and kind of got a little bit younger and picked up some good players to fill up some needs. And then he's drafted pretty well so far.
A lot of us are debating, did the 49ers take a season off because we have a new baby and new baby was keeping him up at night? I think the quarterback is still an issue here. I don't know what he may or may not have done. I mean, we can go look at transactions really fast while he's making his second first-round pick. I don't recall.
I don't remember him picking up a quarterback.
I don't recall him getting a quarterback, and I don't recall him trading for one.
Like he's going O-line, though.
Maybe he's going to try to keep riding it out with oh man, what's his name? I can't remember his name, but he goes Ancy Quincy. What a name right there. Right guard. You're going to go play for San Francisco. So we're probably going to see a bit of a run. Yeah, Denver just said the same thing. Probably going to see a bit of a run. Lonnie Dobbs, that was another player I really had my eye on. Very, very good pick. Athletic, fast, strong. He can jump. He's going to go make a ton of plays for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, it looks like the last 3 offensive linemen that were picked were all hidden dev, I believe.
Yeah, keep me in the loop about what you're seeing in the player snapshots. I cannot keep up with chat, as everybody already knows, but I can definitely keep up with the board that's happening here. Zach Gilmore, left tackle, going to go play for the Patriots. So, I love that. That's cool. I've never seen that. That was kind of cool. It popped up a little pop-up of what his ratings, A's across the board for Zach Gilmore. Going to go help New England continue to build and bolster what I think is quietly becoming one of the best rosters that we have in the OMFL. And he had a lot of momentum building up in the Toilet Bowl. I mean, he absolutely embarrassed me in the Toilet Bowl. So I think that could be a team everybody better watch out for. Connor Okwan. I know that last name because that's my mom's maiden name. Connor Okwan is going to go play right outside linebacker for the Green Bay Packers. Another guy with almost A's across the board. Not a lot of linebackers off the board here, and not a big run on cornerbacks. I think we've only seen two cornerbacks go off the board.
Yeah. Yeah, usually, in years past, we always see that the cornerbacks, wide receivers, always kind of like the staple of the first round, and then also a quarterback as well. So we haven't seen a whole lot of the cornerbacks and the quarterback, but we've seen the wide receivers so far early on.
You got the Ravens here now. I don't know if Nipples is or isn't around. I think he said he's going to be around for the first, and then after that, he's got to dip out. Dolphins, Broncos coming up next. Couple of really interesting teams here. The Ravens played all of his games. He was engaged. I thought he might have popped in tonight, but he was here for the bowl game. I mean, that guy's such a character, and it's the stamina that's an issue for him. So hopefully he can get him a player or two that keeps him engaged here. I would not be surprised if he goes defense. He's a defensive player. Oh, he's not here. All right, so we're going to skip.
So it looks like the linebacker the Packers took is a hidden dev guy. 83 speed, 86 acceleration, 80 strength. So like nothing like spectacular, but if he ends up being like a superstar, then that could be something that could grow into a really nice player for him.
Guys, feel free to let me know if there are players that just aren't online that didn't post to be skipped. Like, I don't mind skipping if you guys know that they're not here. Greg Freeman, left tackle, is going to go for the Ravens. Bruce Noel, he's going to go play middle linebacker for the Miami Dolphins. Miami has invested a lot into those linebackers. I feel like he's got everything else, right? He complained a little bit about, very lightly, but a little bit about Tyreek Hill kind of falling off the face of the planet when it came to regression. Surprised that he didn't try to go with one of these other skill positions, even though there was a run on wide receivers.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked to see that too. But he's also thinking too his defense with the cornerback that's getting older. Just went blank on his. I can see his number. I can see he played for the Rams. Ramsey. He's definitely getting older, and he's probably going to retire, so he's got to replace him as well. So, yeah, he's investing in that defense.
Jerry Bridge, a wide receiver from Alabama, is going to go play for the Broncos. I wish this stayed up a little bit longer. Tyler Woodward, Wisconsin free safety. He's going to go play for the Bears. I'm going to let you take it over here after this next pick, and I'm going to put it on just my face so I can go look at my board. And I like the new setup. I think it's pretty cool. We'll probably get bored with it, but I like that we can see all the picks. I love the new board. I wish a few things are a little bit different, but overall, I like what they've been able to do for Madden 25 with the draft.
Yeah, I can't go wrong with having something a little bit different. With the other screens that we had before, we'd had those for like 5 Maddens or something like that, maybe even longer. But I think it's interesting that we've seen 2 free safeties come off in the first round. I don't think we've seen that many free safeties come off in the first round before. That's pretty intriguing for me, because I know free safety has not always been like the go-to for teams. So that's kind of an intriguing thing, I think.
Mr. Big Hurt and your old Atlanta Falcons had a great season, went on a nice run, and has a really good young team. So he's just going to be adding to the firepower of this team. Wouldn't surprise me if he went offense here. Already a run on wide receivers. Could maybe go linebacker, even though I think he's got some athletic guys at linebacker. Maybe defensive line where he's getting older, so defensive line wouldn't surprise me. He goes cornerback. Oscar Bernard, cornerback out of Louisville. A lot of A's and B's across the board. All right, I'm going to put it on my face. You do the talking, and you guys just stare at me as I look at my board.
All right, so again, the Falcons took Bernard there, cornerback. He did lose a lot of those cornerbacks. He did sign some guys in free agency. I think he ended up I think he only had like 1, possibly 2 cornerbacks on his roster before, after the re-signing period. So he had to attack that, and he's getting younger there as well. So Bernard should be a good piece for him to build up. So now we got the 49ers up. So he took a cornerback, a right guard, and now he's up on the clock again here at 27. So what is Mr. D-Money going to take
if
here?
If he takes my guy, I'm going to lose it right here on camera. I'm staring at the guy that I was hoping would be there. I wanted the tight end. Tight end's gone. Wanted a defensive tackle. They're gone. My last option's still here. And if he takes him here, I'm telling you, I'm going to blow a fuse.
Yeah. I've got a feeling he's probably either going to take... He's set at wide receiver, so he's not taking a wide receiver. I've got a feeling he's either going to maybe take a flyer on another, maybe a linebacker.
He could go tight end. He can go safety.
He could go tight end, safety.
O-line wouldn't surprise me. I mean, he already picked up
another O-line. Yeah, I mean, he could go either one of those routes. I know there's another quarterback.
I think I know what he's going to go, and I'm going to lose my mind.
That's a scrambling guy, and I know he's missed the wheels of a quarterback, so I wouldn't be surprised if he maybe takes a flyer on that quarterback.
Oh, he didn't. He took a quarterback. It said in chat, Ricky Skoliki, I don't know, from Arkansas. He's going to go play quarterback. Good pick from him, and thankfully he left my guy alone. My guy may be a total bust. I'm not saying that he's going to be good. He's just the guy I was hoping would still be there. I had like 5 guys for the first round that I wanted, and this guy ended up still being there. So
I thought that was really funny though, because I started talking about the quarterback right at the last, and that was the guy that I was talking about. That was the speed guy, the scrambling guy that he's lacked since he had Trey Lance and all those other guys that he's played with. So, man. All right, let's talk about your pick, man.
Yeah, a hidden dev. Did not expect that. 94 speed, 73 strength, 90 acceleration. The acceleration sucks. Change of direction is pretty good at 93. I haven't drafted a running back in a long time in Madden. I usually build what I got, but I had to. I gotta get some athleticism back there, and so I took a flyer. I still really like my starting running back that I have, but listen. Priest, who's in the chat right now, he's just proven you go get a stud, fast, Madden-generated linebacker or running back, and man, you can cause a lot of havoc. I'd love to see what Ricky Scolai, I don't know, how would you say that? I don't even know. If he posts a picture, please let me know.
Yeah, I'm trying like maybe it's Silo. Is it Silo?
Oh, maybe it's Silo. Soli, yeah. Sylvester Bingham, yeah. UCLA, right in. He's going to go play for the Houston Texans. A lot of solid picks. I haven't seen one that makes me scratch my head. Now, I haven't dove deep into any of these, but look, one of your old guys from the Deuce said it. Oh my God! All the guys I wanted were going by pick number 7. You're not sneaking nobody through in the OMFL.
Yeah, I think he's like in the 3rd round, and I think there was a couple guys that were 3rd round grades in the original projected spot. And of course, if you unlocked any more of their stuff, you could kind of tell that they were probably a little higher than a 3rd round or 3rd day guy. So, but yeah, you can't squeak anybody by in this league. It's like if you got a guy that you really feel like can help your team, and he's a 3rd round guy or whatever, and you're drafting in the 1st, you better take him, because more than likely or not, he ain't going to be there when you draft again. So
the defensive tackle run continues to happen. I thought about drafting a defensive tackle, but all my top guys were way gone. I just couldn't use a 1st round pick on a guy that's rated 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. But Addison Archibald is going to go play defensive tackle for the Chargers. There's people in chat that says this is a regression response. I haven't seen this in 2 Maddens. What do you like? I don't know. What do you think about this run of defensive tackles here?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a couple of older defensive tackles, and I didn't see them regress. So I don't know. Maybe it's just because I made it to the OMFL Bowl or whatever. It helped in that department, but this is something we haven't seen, like you said, in a long time. I mean, maybe ever. I mean, as long as I've been a part of this, and 8, 9 years now, off and on. I don't think I've ever seen this many defensive tackles taken in the 1st round. It looks a little bit more like real life if you get down to it. So
there's always that run though. The OMFL does do that a lot, whether it's receivers early in this draft. We've seen offensive line runs go. We've seen quarterback runs go. We've seen defensive end runs go. Like, this league will go on a run. Randy Boone, right tackle out of USC, is going to go play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Thank you, Priest, for reminding me in the snapshot. I'll try to get it really quick, as I heard it changes pretty quick, and we may not be able to get it, but I will do my best to try to get one.
So, Lost Sniper, his left tackle,
couldn't get it.
He is a hidden dev guy. Jay Glaze and his wide receiver is a hidden dev, but only 85 speed. So that's a little, but he's a big guy, 6'3", 204. He's a little bit old though, 23. And then D Money posted his quarterback, and he is normal dev, but he's 89 throw power, but 90 speed, 90 acceleration, 85 agility, 93 change of direction. This guy will be scrambling on those third and longs every time you look at it. So he'll have him superstar by the end of the season next season. That's
It is my pick, so I'm trying to make a pick again. You just keep talking. You keep doing what you're really good at. So
yeah, it's look like guys are really doing well in the draft so far. Like I said, that D Money pick, even though it doesn't look real sexy on the paper, but he's got really good. He's got break sack is 5. He's basically like a running back playing quarterback, and so his deep accuracy, medium accuracy, and short are all B. So he'll be somewhere in the mid 70s to high 70s probably on all those. But again, just a little bit of work, and he'll be a top quarterback here.
We got the commissioner up. He's not saying anything, but he's moving his mouth. A little snapshot of the Saints war room. I don't know why somebody's wearing a do-rag back there. A little hat situation here. Mr. Sean Lynch, 30th in value. I got him here at pick number 33. 88 speed, 88 acceleration, 66 strength. Sucks. He's normal dev. He's terrible. So basically, not a good pick. I should have went with my other choice.
Is it somebody that you can put on the bench or possibly train and get him built up here in the next couple of seasons?
We'll see. 88 is that's a tough speed. Man, I had another guy in mind, and I talked myself out of it because safety is a little bit bigger need than the other position, but is what it is. Mr. Darryl Huff, tight end. He's going to go to the Indianapolis Colts. There is a part of me, to finish that statement, because this popped into my head as well. There's a part of me that actually likes when I make bad picks, so no one can ever say that I cheated. Because I know y'all see I go edit the rosters. I just go in the draft to make sure no one's name is screwed up. And so when you see that I've edited the roster, it's just checking names. And I just sort of want to prove that I don't save that information. I don't know it. I don't look through it. Anyway, so I kind of like when I make a stupid pick like that, so nobody can ever say I'm cheating. Darryl Huff, tight end, he's going to go play for the Colts. The Colts took a step back last year. This Madden was not kind to him early on, but I do think that he's going to get that quarterback figured out. He's going to get that running game figured out. He's going to bounce back this year.
Brian Teague left in going to the Commanders. It flashed up there for a little bit. It looked like a lot of A grades across the board on this guy. So looked like this might be a pretty good pick for the Commanders.
What do you expect from the Commanders this season?
Definitely, he's playing in one of the toughest divisions. Not maybe per se the toughest, but you got two guys like Bill and Dwayne. They've kind of run that division for a long while. And throughout the times that they've been in that league or that division. But he's definitely, I think, made some good picks that's going to help him out. I know he's like halfway around the world from where we're at, so he does well, though. I think he's very I guess engaged as much as you can, being on different time zones that you are. And he's always been a pretty solid player. He's a pretty solid game caller and stuff. So if he gets things going the right way for him, he could definitely make some noise over there. He may not win the division, but I think he can definitely make some guys sweat.
A left guard out of Florida, Lance Wilson, going to go play for the Jets. Cincyberg gathering him a lot of talent here early in this draft. That's another team that we know how good the owner is. Just didn't have all the pieces that he probably wanted to have. And so another team, Titans, Jets, Steelers, these are some of those teams that I could see with the right draft picks, the right offseason, they could make a quick turnaround here. As we're looking through or waiting for a couple of these picks, let's look at the preseason schedule real fast. And then after that, we'll let a couple more picks go, and we'll come look at some regular season schedule things.
I started chuckling at the jokers asking, why is the clock running? It's the draft, my friend.
Did Joker not understand how this works? Anyway, I'm going to let y'all do that. Yeah. Y'all explain it to him. Anyway, couple of big games, Raiders, Falcons in preseason week 1. These games are going to get played, or at least hopefully some of them get played. Colts, Bucks could be a ton of fun. Appreciate the subscription. Oh, it went too fast. I missed it. Sustainment TV. Thanks for the subscription. I appreciate you. Colts and Bucks could be a ton of fun. Rams and Dolphins might be fun. The Rams are starting to reload over there. Your Bills are going to go play the 49ers. I actually hope that happens. I get to go play my guy, Little Koch, man. He embarrassed me last Madden, so I feel like I owe him one. Cowboys and Browns could be fun to watch. Packers and Broncos could be a fun one. Panthers and Eagles, as Penguin tries to rebuild that roster. Panthers already picking up a couple pieces here that are going to help him. Jaguars and Texans, Giants and Chiefs. These are all going to be really good games if they get played. We do pause in week number 1 to let guys play, so hopefully a couple of these games get played. Ravens and Seahawks, please, for the love of God, let that be a game that actually somehow happens. All right, we're Simon Washington, who's up here. Lance Wilson, Andrew Gardner, I don't know, tight end, and Damian Butler, left outside linebacker, is going to go play for the Patriots. And the reason my guy over here is quiet is because he's up for a pick. The Buffalo Bills with their first pick in this draft. And we'll see what he gets, and we'll let him talk about him a little bit. Guys, we're going to start taking interviews in round number 4. We're also going to speed the draft up in round number 4. Let's see if it changes by the time we get there before I make a decision, but it will probably be 1 minute per pick, and I will start skipping them. If you're out of the draft, make sure that you go in the chat and let me know. Chat, make sure that you let me know if you see that somebody's just not online. I don't mind skipping people if you know for sure they're not going to be online. We got the Bills here, Eagles, Chiefs, and Panthers right after that. Panthers have gathered them a couple of picks here and had a really good free agency. So the Panthers, I think, are going to be a revamped team, a team that started out slow last season, found their footing pretty quickly, though, regained that momentum, and made a run at the wild card there at the very end. Falcon says, I got Dallas, Buffalo, San Francisco, Jets, Seattle, Jacksonville, Dolphins, Arizona as 9 division games. That's a tough one. I'll look at mine really fast because I have not looked at mine yet. Regular season. I got Commanders, 49ers. So that'll be fun. Dolphins, Seahawks. Oh my gosh. Y'all know I had the first pick in the draft, right? Bills, Patriots, Jets, Colts, Rams. That's a first pick of the draft schedule? Holy cow. Trey Holland, a left tackle, is going to go play for your Buffalo Bills. Tell me about him.
Let's see. He's a B+. He was ranked 71, drafted him at 39, but he is hidden dev, 92 strength. Definitely has a B rating for lead block, B rating for a pass block. So he's going to be a little bit of a project, but with that hidden dev, he'll have a little bit of a heads up to try to build him up, because I'm definitely going to have some offensive linemen coming in the next couple of seasons. Some of my guys are getting older, and so he's going to be a good piece to build.
Out of my personal draft board, off of the regular draft board, I just went through every position outside of positions I knew I wouldn't draft and highlighted potential draftable players. I probably had about 35 of them or so. I have 3, 6, 9, 13 of them left on my draft board. That's just nuts. Out of draftable players, I thought out of all the rounds, there's 13 guys left on my favorites list. Now, it just goes to show you cannot sneak anyone by here in the OMFL. Guys are going to go out and they're going to make some picks that bring really good talent on. Randy says he's going to jump on remote play. Okay, Randy.
Yeah, you can't sneak anybody by. I mean, if you get completely lucky, you might accidentally every once in a while be able to sneak a guy into like maybe the late second, early third, or whatever. But usually by then everybody's gone, and it's just like you're just trying to pick somebody that can actually either be really fast or really strong or something good at something like that. But after those rounds, everybody that's a piece that can actually really be a significant piece to your team, they're already on somebody else's roster.
Brett Peterson out of Ohio State, all A's and a couple of B's there. A right outside linebacker is going to go play for Carolina. They're hitting home run after home run after home run, free agency and the draft. Carolina's got to be a team that's going to catch some attention here. I'd also say, man, look at Marquise Butler, a right outside linebacker, all A's except for one B. He's going to go play for the Houston Texans. Houston, also bang up draft. Homer after homer after homer here. Matthew Stark, he's another halfback that I had on my list. Really good pick there. Going to go play for the Green Bay Packers. I felt like my guy was a little bit faster. I didn't feel like I know he was, but Green Bay with back-to-back picks here. I'd also add, real quick, Maniac, to what you were saying. Now with the way that you can sort by all of these different stats and whatnot, it's going to be impossible to like find a sleeper in the 4th or 5th round because those guys are just going to get gobbled up pretty quickly.
Yeah. And, I don't know if some of these guys, like, you say, for instance, like a cornerback that may not be really fast per se, like, maybe he's in the mid to high 80s and he's a big guy, there might be some potential to actually switch positions for him to be like a safety or something. Some of those things, like when you're initially looking at your draft, you may not be thinking about that, but those type of guys that could end up being really good at something else that you may have passed up because he's only got a 4.5 40 or whatever, ends up being somebody could be a stud at a safety position or something like that. So those type of guys at that point in time, you might be able to find somebody, but like you said, with being able to search that by adjusting the search through the different categories and stuff, it's hard to sneak anybody by.
Somebody tell Joker his picks in 2 picks, just in case he's got lost on what we're doing. So hopefully he's on board to what we're doing. Mr. Raj says, no, they all sucked. Yeah, the quarterbacks, Tim, felt like there were a couple of good ones, but I feel like not a lot of people were willing to spend sort of the high draft capital to grab one of those quarterbacks. There wasn't that sort of game changer in this draft. I think quarterback actually ended up being one of the like lesser than positions in this entire draft. Marquise Thompson out of Ole Miss, left in, almost all A's early, and then some B's and C's there. He's going to go play for Mr. Tim over there in Detroit. We got Cardinals, Bengals, Titans, and then back to San Francisco. Feels like poor San Francisco's had a ton of picks. I think it would be his 4th pick already. I think it's maybe 1 or 2 teams that had that many picks this early. We're going to skip the Jaguars, the Ravens, the Eagles, and the Commanders. And if there are other teams that we should be skipping, make sure that you let me know. Jason Meadows, a right in, is going to go play for Arizona out of LSU. This was another guy I had my eyes on. Really good player. Some potential there. He's going to need some work. I think defensive ends, like the superstars, they're gone. And none of them were like the absolute superstar. But all these guys have like workable attributes and abilities.
Yeah, that's and some of these, I know that after, kind of going through quickly looking at some of these positions and some of these different archetypes and 40 times and all the pro day and the the combine scouting and stuff, there may be a few guys that guys don't feel like they can take a flyer on them right now, but may get picked up later on and stuff. So, but again, if you see anybody that catches your eye now, even if it says like, potential undrafted free agent or whatever, and you think like, oh man, this guy may have 93 speed or whatever, maybe he can be a returner. You might want to look at taking him late in a later round because they won't last so long.
Mason Davis, a stud center, is going to go play for the Tennessee Titans. Kobe starting to gather him a lot of talent there in Tennessee. Big question is going to be the quarterback play. Can he get that settled in? What's happening with the running game, the offensive line? That team, it's one of those teams that just needs a lot of talent. Mason Davis, probably an instant impact starter for that team.
Yeah, he'll definitely make his presence known on that team, and Kobe is, like you said, slowly kind of transforming that Titans team into something that we've seen from him and stuff. So he kind of had one of the stronger second halves of the season with the team that he had. So anything that he gets built now is going to be something that's just going to help him get even stronger.
I also love drafting centers because you have some flexibility there of kicking them out to guard if you've got a really good center. To me, I really try to draft the best offensive lineman, period, and then really move them to sort of fit where I want. Of course, I want a little bit more speed on the outside for those speed rushers, but you got a lot of flexibility with those interior guys. I really do like, I know it's not like the sexiest thing to watch here. It's just a draft board that's moving around, but it's so much better than what we had last Madden. I just wish it stayed a little longer, especially as you change rounds. And then the little pop-ups that we get, I really like those. I just wish they stayed a little longer. Outside of that, really good job by EA of getting us something different. Sergio Scarborough, I love the name with the halfback. I thought of Bo Scarborough. He's going to go play for San Francisco. I thought San Francisco was going to take my halfback. I thought for sure he could use a halfback, and he was going to take a speed guy. He's already got a stud over there, but I was like, he loves speed. He loves being able to grab guys that he sort of uses and then trades them off for first rounders. I thought he might do that, but he grabs a halfback here in the second round. We're already halfway through the second round as we turn our attention to the Bears. They're drafting middle linebacker Dale Durham. A's across the board till you get to block shed. Middle linebacker, there's a position we haven't talked a ton about. We've seen some outside linebackers go, not a ton of middle linebackers.
Yeah, that's kind of the first middle linebackers went. So yeah, that's a good pick. He looks like he's going to be a possibility of being a stud there for the Bears. Colin kind of building off of a really great season that he had, and so he's just kind of reloading and gearing up to make another run.
Priest, are you meaning your guy's 99 speed? Is that what you mean? 99 and 97? I don't know what that means exactly, but sounds like Mr. Chris Kaufman's a absolute stud over there in Green Bay. He loves his fast wide receivers. Well, good for you. He's got a 99 speed wide receiver.
Wow. So Tyreek Hill Jr. there. So
the Priest is putting together a really good offseason here, a really good draft as he builds off of what was a really good season. We got Mr. Kevin here. I haven't seen Kevin in the chat in quite some time, if I remember seeing him at all, but hopefully he's here to make his pick. He's picking here at pick 52, then back-to-back for the Houston Texans before we go to the Dolphins and the Broncos. So we start to get to the end of the second round, and we're moving right along here.
Yeah, things are kind of just chugging right along. Guys are making their picks, and I do want to comment, like what you said, like with the additions that EA did and stuff. From what we had before, like we didn't have no capability of knowing who was drafted previously, what was going on. It was just like, it was like you had to rely on the person that drafted the guy to send a screenshot or anything to get any kind of information. And now, we're at least getting a little bit. But like I said, they need to leave that where, it stays up there a good, 25 seconds or so, kind of give you a little time to kind of soak it in because it's it really goes pretty quick.
I guess Mr. Kevin's not here. Eric Murphy, right guard's going to go play for Tampa Bay. I'm fine with my division rivals not making their picks, but I wish he would be here, at least say that he couldn't be here. Houston Texans here with back-to-back picks. One of the better drafts here. I think it's going to be hard to pick an absolute winner. Rams, Packers, 49ers, Houston. I mean, those are just off the top of my head of teams that have had really solid. Panthers, got to put the Panthers up there. What are you expecting Houston to do here? They go with left outside linebacker Levon Wynn. He is out of Oklahoma State. A's awareness, finesse, and then it kind of goes downhill from there. What do you think for this next pick? Great insight there. I guess Mr. Maniac fell asleep on me. Look, Raj.
Oh, my bad. I was on mute.
Oh,
I was coughing.
There you go. All right. Well, Raj likes the big play offense. I don't know what if the quarterback is settled long term, but he goes offense. I was like, yeah, I would expect him to sort of add to the weapons there. He takes Juan Austin out of Tennessee, to go play running back over there in Houston.
Yeah, what I was trying to say before I realized I was actually muted was that we've seen him kind of concentrate on the defensive side, and that pick number 54, I thought he might try to take an offensive player. I said possibly either like a tight end or something along that line, and so he did go offense, didn't go tight end, but he definitely has. Roger does gravitate towards that defensive side.
So many wide receivers still going, and I didn't think there would be that many wide receivers actually this draftable this early. I mean, we're not even to the end of the first round, and we've had 7, 8, maybe pushing 9 wide receivers as Theo Clark is going to go play for Miami. I was going to ask or say we haven't seen like a massive run on any position here. What is the next position that you could foresee there being a run on? I'm surprised we haven't seen a run on cornerback. I think it's because those guys lacked speed this year. We've seen the run on wide receiver. God, that's got to stop here pretty soon. I would probably tend to believe before it's all said and done, we're going to see a run on linebackers, middle and outside, and then tackles, the 2 outside tackles.
Yeah, I was going to say probably looking at the offensive line being one that's going to be starting to have a little bit of run, and probably linebacker. I think those were probably where a lot of the value is left in this draft. I think as far as at this point in time in the draft, there's still a lot of value in the draft, but I think you'll probably see that be the focal point. We may start seeing some cornerbacks as well. Like you said, they are. There's some guys that are not just really completely fast. But I will say sometimes you can't completely trust the 40 times Madden post, because I have seen some guys that were posted like they ran like a 4.5 something 40, and then all of a sudden like they're a 93 speed guy. So, it's like, I don't know how Madden does all that, but you can see that sometimes.
Scarborough for the 49ers, 95 acceleration, 94 speed, hidden dev. Well, clearly D-Money knows what he's doing over there. Juan Alston goes to Houston, Theo Clark to Miami, Connor Lewis goes over to the Denver Broncos, and KJ Osgood's going to go play right outside linebacker for the Chicago Bears. Big Hurt and his Atlanta Falcons are up. I don't know how D-Money has the up, down, square, circle, square cheat codes to Madden. Maybe he has dirty pictures of Madden producers and somehow has the cheat code, but the guy just knows what he's doing, and he has the right tools to make himself really good at this game, especially at drafting. Oscar Winthrop out of Alabama, he's going to go play cornerback for your old Atlanta Falcons. Big Hurt has done some impressive things with that team. Lots of offensive weapons. It looks like, at least early in this draft, the focus has been on building up that defense, which already had a lot of weapons. Some were costly, some were sort of aging. What do you think about the Atlanta Falcons?
Yeah, I think he's attacked where he was the weakest, I think, that cornerback position. So I definitely think he's done what he's needed to do to keep the team to be competitive in this next season. I think these young cornerbacks are going to eventually turn out to be something pretty decent for him. I will comment too on Colin. The last few picks have been linebackers, and both those guys I think are going to be stars because it looked like they were pretty much A's across the board. What it flashed up there, so that's going to be another team that you're going to see, I think, really improve on the defensive side as well.
We're going to skip the Jags, then we got the Browns, the Seahawks, your Bills, and then over to the Dallas Cowboys, which I don't know if he was serious or not. It may be his wife doing the drafting for him tonight, so good luck to her making some good draft picks here. Joshua Jordan, left tackle, going to go play for the Las Vegas Raiders. Juwan Peterson, the left tackle, going to go play for the Jaguars. I feel like as soon as I said there was going to be a run on outside linebackers and outside tackles, we've seen 3 of the last 4 picks be exactly that. So, sometimes I can get a few things right too. Right.
Yeah, it's a good call on that. So I'm going to go ahead and start diving into my draft board here since
you do that.
I'll be up here in 2 picks.
I think we're starting to get to that point of the draft where players are going to start to normalize or start seeing sort of like backups or average players with the occasional sort of home run. I think the OMFL always does such a great Fleur, your message made me pause. I was like, I could have swore he said to skip him, but you're just at work telling me you hope you got a good guy. You're going to see the occasional sort of really good player pop up as we continue to see the run on wide receivers go. David Franklin, a wide receiver, is going to go play for the Cleveland Browns here. That's been a bit mind-blowing. I knew they'd be the run early, but I thought it would sort of peter out after that, sort of like we've seen with the cornerbacks, where it's just sort of like every 8 to 15 picks or so, or 8 to 12 picks, I should say, you'll see a cornerback go. That has not been the case. I mean, just this round alone, we've seen 1, 2. Oh, I guess it's only been 2. I guess it just feels like it's been more than that. But I guess we've only seen 3 wide receivers go in this round alone. Listen, I just hate skipping people unless I 100% know for sure. And when your name popped up, I was like, oh crap, did I do something wrong? It's a scary button to hit sometimes. Cardell Simpson, a middle linebacker out of Auburn, is going to go play for the Seattle Seahawks. Again, that run on linebackers is starting to begin. So if you needed a linebacker, now is the time to grab them. Mr. Bill is up. Bill, listen to me. I'm sorry. Mr. Maniac is up with his Bills. And then after that, it's going to be Dallas Cowboys. And then we're over to the 3rd round. And then after the 3rd round, we're going to start taking interviews. We're going to speed this up to 1 minute each, unless it already goes there. I'm not 100% sure. I don't think it will. But we're going to just hold to an automatic. I'm simming it after a minute. So start to mentally prepare yourselves. If somebody can help me, also tag everyone in the main chat and say, in the 4th round on, I'm simming it after a minute. So once that 2-minute clock gets to a minute, I'm getting this puppy rolling. We're getting out of here. We're talking about, backup players. So we're not going to spend all night doing this. As Mr. Maniac tracks this clock all the way down, trying to make the decision. I want this guy. I want that guy. Which one? I hate that sort of feeling of like, just press the button. It's a tough one to do sometimes. I think the linebacker is going to be a much more impactful position this draft than what we see the picks being. I think when we get to defensive rookie of the year, we're going to see exactly how good this linebacker position in this draft really was. I think we're going to have a lot of really good playmakers at linebacker. I think this Madden lends itself to really good playmakers at linebacker. We've seen that happen with Dallas. Jamal Hill, halfback out of Stanford, a good halfback going to play for your Buffalo Bills. Tell us about Jamal.
Let's see what he looks like. They're going through the little screen thing where it shows like the putting the cap on or whatever, but I'm thinking he's going to be probably like a third down guy for me. He's actually a hidden dev guy. He's 5'8", 198 pounds. He's age 21, 91 speed, 90 acceleration. So not crazy attributes, but solid. 85 agility, 89 change of direction. He's not really strong, but his skill point basically is in catching. He's got an A through B catching radius and a spectacular catch. So he's going to be probably that receiving third down back out of the backfield. And then he could potentially build into something, especially being a hidden dev. He could eventually build into maybe an all-down back or something eventually. But he'll be a change of pace back, though.
All right, as we start off the third round here, I'm taking a middle linebacker. Mr. Calhoun, as the commissioner does his thing here, and the draft room does the exact same cutscene that we did just a few minutes ago. Mr. Calhoun, not in the sharp-looking suit there, Mr. Calhoun. Got the Saints hat. He's ready to rock and roll. Good pick, B-, 65 rating, and got him at 62. His player profile, 87 speed, 77 strength, 83 acceleration. That kind of sucks, but I like everything else about him. He's got some pretty decent skills. A nice little guy that I can kind of build up. We'll see how it goes. Let's skip the Commanders here. Off to the Jets. Percy Carrington, defensive tackle, going to the Minnesota Vikings. Glenn Ware, a left guard out of Texas A&M. Nice little rankings there. He's going to go play for the Commanders. Over to the Jets and Mr. Cincyberg, then the Chargers, back to the Packers, who also have had a ton of picks. He's got two more in this round here. Packers, a really, really good draft. Building off of what was a really good season for him, what do you expect from the Green Bay Packers?
Yeah, I definitely think he's going to hopefully get back to what was making him successful early on. I think we saw him kind of go back to his old habits, either trying to continue with like trying to be the top quarterback or putting all those stats in, maybe to try to get his guy built up. So I'm not sure exactly what was the plan there, but he's traded away a couple guys, but he's also got good value back for him so far, and it looks like he's done his homework in the draft.
Appreciate everybody helping me out here when I said someone please tag everyone.
Did they tag somebody?
No, no one did. I'm doing it now.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, no, you're here with me. Other guys are just in the chat. You can help me out here.
Raiders, their left tackle, Joshua Jordan, is a hidden dev guy.
That's nice.
As well. Big hurt, which is Oscar Winthrop is also a hidden dev. 90 speed, 93 acceleration, 5'11", age 22 guy. Change of directions 91, jumping is 92. So definitely possibly a guy that's going to be built up there on the quarterback there for the Falcons going into the future.
I want to look. I thought for sure. I do. I've got some interesting picks that I think could happen as we get to 4th, 5th, 6th round. That's when you start to see guys take some chances on a few players. It could be interesting as we start to round the corner here. Mr. Dakota said, "Wife is assisting the draft. I am staying through the third round, then off to bed." Well, tell the missus we said thank you, appreciate her, and if she could go ahead and just can this draft, that would be much appreciated. Juan Ringer, what a great name, left guard out of Penn State. A lot of A's in there, a lot of good, smart players coming out of Penn State. Priest continues to have a great draft, and he'll let us know about it. Just read the chat.
Yeah, so looking at some of the recent players that have been drafted, Dwayne, his wide receiver, Sherman, was a hidden dev, 93 speed, 88 acceleration. Cincy Berg, Lance Wilson, hidden dev, 92 strength guy. That's a left guard. And then Priest, his guys, Matthew Stark is hidden dev, 90 speed, 95 acceleration for the halfback. And then I thought I saw Nysonger, his first pick of the night, defensive tackle, Percy Kerrigan. Mm-hmm. Hidden dev, defensive tackle, 87 strength, 81 speed, 81 acceleration. And he's only 21, so a young guy there that could possibly build up for those Vikings.
What do you think about players that, for defensive tackles, I should say, that have the lower strength but the higher speed? Are those players that you like to go after? I feel like oftentimes, because I have one of those, a real life player, that sometimes it can leave you vulnerable in the run defense.
Yeah, personally for me, with that type of player, I would probably look to either, if I'm playing like a 3-4, move them out to maybe like an in and put a stronger guy on the inside. But I still think they have a place on your team. It's just like I think in a lot of situations, so those lower strength guys that get pushed around by the big offensive linemen, especially if you have a guy that utilizes the double team feature some in the running game stuff, you'll see those guys just like bulldoze him out of the way and just make huge gaping holes for the running game.
D-Money says, "I'll take a lower strength but speedy defensive tackle all day." I can't tell if he's just telling us that so everybody goes and does that, or if he's like being serious. You can never trust that guy. He's got dirty pictures of people. I know it. We got the Chiefs just bleeding this clock all the way down. Then we got the Rams, the Texans. We'll skip the Jags and then back over to Priest. I'm about sick of seeing Priest. I hope that he don't draft again after the third round. Like, I'm sick of seeing the Packers up here all day.
Right. No, D-Money saying he take a low strength guy. I don't know about that. I mean, he just traded for a stronger defensive tackle from Jacksonville. So, D-Money, put your proof in the pudding. If you're going to do that, then let's see you get some 81 strength guys in the center of your defense and see what happens. So now I'm sure some guys could user those guys, and maybe if they have a lot of block shed, you could see them have some success, but I don't know if this, from my experience, like a lower strength guy, and if he's that 81 area and down, and he's kind of like a base across the board, he usually gets owned, and it's just. But there is some defensive tackle users here in this league that maybe they can make magic happen with those guys. So I don't know.
Dakota Ingram, middle linebacker out of Florida. He's going to go play for the LA Rams. I'm like you. I think maybe I need to evolve. And so maybe I just need to go build my roster exactly how D-Money does. And maybe I'd be able to at least win more than 3 games this season. But I'm sort of old school. Just the position itself lends itself to like speed shouldn't matter that much, strength should matter because you're up against the big boys in there, and like who cares if you have 81 speed? Like you're not chasing down that many players or defensive or quarterbacks, that kind of thing. Like maybe from time to time, but overall you're supposed to be just stopping that run up front. So I could see both sides of that argument. Brian Brisset had a okay season, but I've had him for 2 Maddens now. Nothing super spectacular. I had the 2 light, fast, quick, easy block shed defensive tackles last Madden, and I just got brutally ran on every single play. Rashad Allison out of Utah State, a cornerback, is going to go play for Houston. I'm still surprised we're seeing the run on cornerbacks now because I know a lot of those guys are going to be missing sort of that 92, 93, 94 speed. You're not going to have those guys anymore. Maybe 90, 91. Going to start seeing a lot of 88s and 89s. Even Kobe says, I agree with D-Money, even without using athleticism is king. Another guy that I don't trust. And y'all sneaky fellas trying to get us to let go of our strong defensive tackles. They're probably right. Listen, that's why. I could skip this.
You know what? I'm gonna.
You guys are not helping me.
I'm gonna go look at their roster right now and see what. So the 49ers defensive tackles. All right, let's see where they're at. Okay, so his top guy that he just traded with the Jaguars is an 88 strength guy, but he does have 83 speed, 83 acceleration. Hargrave is only a 75 speed, 82 strength guy. But those guys, the one he just traded for from the Jags is a 95 block shed, 91 finesse move guy. But the rest of his guys are like 70 and below on block shed for defensive tackles. So, and then looking at the Titans, right now, his top defensive tackle block shedder is 86, which is Jeffrey Simmons, which he also has 97 strength. And his other guy that he's got, Sweat, is a 94 strength with only 83 block shed, but they're not fast, so they're lying.
Dakota, I'm a little bit like you. I like the big guys. But again, like I question everything. I won 3 games. I'm absolutely terrible. Ever since I got in the bowl game, it has been all downhill for me. So what do I know? I should not have an opinion. But I got to say something. I'm here for 4 hours. I got to say something.
Hey, I'm gonna start fact checking though. So, and them guys, they start saying like, "Oh yeah, take a 81 strength guy with fast speed." And why ain't they on your team?
Priest bragging like Priest is gonna get tennis elbow from patting himself on the back so much tonight. Easy, Priest. You can get corporal tunnel in your fingers.
Priest,
I wish I had Pat Bacon.
Why pat yourself on the back within 2 seasons? You're just gonna trade him the D-Money anyway.
This is true. D-Money's looking at his future roster in Green Bay. I feel like I missed on these tight ends because I only seen one fast tight end, and he went early, and so I guess I didn't pay enough attention. This is my problem. I never have enough time to do everything I should do for my team, so it just is what it is.
I miss setting up my board because at that time I was dealing with my sickness thing going on too. So a lot of my guys didn't get what I really wanted to look at on some of the rosters. Didn't really get all the way, but that is just the way it is sometimes. But
next Madden, I'm telling you. I mean, next season, I'm just gonna make the time. Mark Burrow, another wide receiver, Barrow, I should say, another wide receiver going over to the Arizona Cardinals. And we continue to see this run on wide receivers. It's sort of the opposite of what we've seen with cornerbacks. As a cornerback goes there, Chester Newton from Ohio State is going to go play for the Cincinnati Bengals.
See, I think Mark Burrow was the guy that was 6'8", the wide receiver.
Joker does like his big guys. Like his running back was big, his receiver was big, his quarterback was. He likes those big fellas.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's who that was. It may not have been, but I'm pretty sure that's who it was, though. And he had some decent like speed and stuff, but I think his catch was like an F or something like that. So good luck having him hold on to the ball. But he's definitely big body. I think it's like 6'8", 234 pounds or something like that. 238 pounds. He was a huge receiver.
That is a big boy. We got 2 Ravens picks here that we'll skip, the Eagles pick that we will skip, the Jaguars pick that we will skip, so you guys can help me stay on top of that. That would be crazy useful as Kansas City is up right now. Is he even around? I haven't seen him in chat. I feel like his clock is clicked all the way down every time. I'm about to add him to the skip list. Usually Bill's in here. I don't know where he's at tonight, saying, hey, these guys aren't online, you can skip them, but nobody's helping me here tonight.
Yeah, I know. We're normally like got 6 guys in chat trying to say, hey, go this stuff over here, but no.
Shocks, are you around, brother? Tired of waiting on your picks here. Killing me.
I do agree, though. I think you're going to start seeing, like, mostly guys just taking flyers on guys that are...
100%. Guys that have maybe, like, an attribute or two that you think you can build off of. That's probably what we're going to start seeing now. But don't worry. Priest will brag about every 62 overall, 89 speed wide receiver that he gets. Kyle Redmond, a left guard, is going to go play for San Francisco. Here, I think we're really going to continue to see the run on defensive line and offensive line. I think we're going to see a big, big run here.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you.
No, good, Bill. I'm just giving you a hard time, buddy. Oh, Jaguars. See? Jaguars, listen to me. I mean, the Ravens. See? Nobody's helping me stay on top of this. I'm half retarded over here. Ronnie Harris, a wide receiver, another wide receiver. Yeah, his top skill is injury, BD. That's not good. That's never good when the top skill that Madden shows you after drafting a player is his injury rating, and it still has a D letter in front of it. That's probably not a good sign.
Yeah, that's probably not one to write home to mom about.
Probably not.
So.
New England Patriots are up. Again, I talked about New England having what I think is a really good draft here early on. He had a couple picks early in this draft, had a really good offseason, and I think has a lot of potential to make a run in what could be a winnable division. Now, that division is going to get hard. Kobe's going to get that team figured out. There's going to be a couple. The Jaguars are right there, right? He made a nice run in the playoffs, but he's in a winnable division. New England Patriots, you expecting something from them?
Yeah, I mean, when I played him this last season, I mean, he was just him and that quarterback, man, Rusty Starr.
Yeah,
he gets some more weapons around him. He is going to be a problem. I mean, he's already a problem, but he's really going to continue just to build off of that guy, and he's going to make something out of him. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame for sure.
Chad Wooden, left outside linebacker, is going to go play for the Ravens. Christian Lawrence, a good-looking right outside linebacker, is going to go play for the Eagles. And we've seen the last 3 picks be outside linebackers.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of run on them outside linebackers now, so that's kind of intriguing.
I think consistently, Twinkie has been a team that we always say is much, much better than his record. There's some owners we say that because we just like them, like me. But there's some owners where that's really true. We've seen him go and invest in a brand new quarterback. We've seen him invest a lot of early picks here into this team, a team that was already pretty loaded and young on defense, What do you think is going to take for the Eagles to turn it around? Now, it's in a tough division, right? A lot of really good teams over there. Dallas is king, of course, OMFL champion. What do you think the Eagles are going to need to do to get things turned around?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be it's one of those things where he's just. I think a lot of the issue is like he's got to get more confidence in himself, and then two, like when you go into those games, just like it was in the ball game with me and Dwayne. You got to go in and not make the mistakes, and sometimes you press too much and get out of your game plan. And those guys that are over in that division, you can't do that. You just got to stick with your game plan, to the bitter end, until you can't, just absolutely can't. But Dwayne's been making a living off of making a lot of guys look silly, and so it's just, just he's played really good. I think Twinkie's played really good, and he's beaten Dwayne a couple of times.
Yeah.
It's just that he's just not been consistent enough. And I don't know what his personal life is. A lot of times guys, they're so busy with their personal life, jobs and stuff, they're not able to really dig in like some other guys are and things. So, I don't know if that tends to kind of affect him or not, but he's definitely played really well, and I think probably one of the owners that's lost games. A lot of the games have been close, that lose by 3, lose by 7, lose by 1, those type of games and stuff. So just a little bit more here and there and stuff. I think we'll see him possibly be pushing for a playoff.
Come down to the end of the third round, I think a lot of times we will talk about the sexiness of the first round picks, the high first round picks, the top 5 picks. And sometimes we'll see some of those players, especially if they're quarterbacks, make a big difference in this league. I don't believe that's where the quote unquote money is made. Where do you think the money is made in the OMFL? What round, what section of that round? Where do you think the teams who stay consistently good are picking up those bulk of players?
I think it's those guys that are picking in those second to third, the early fourth round. I think those guys that are getting players that can contribute to your team, maybe not that first season that they're drafted, but as the progression goes along, I think that those guys build into really staples of their teams, and I think that's kind of where you see guys like Dwayne, because Dwayne a lot of times has picked in the back rounds. He'll trade out of a first round a lot of times, and go back, and he picks up those guys that really fit his team and contributes. Even 3 and 4 seasons down the road, and I think that's where guys that are really successful make their money at here in the OMFL.
Guys, are coming down to the last 4 picks here. In the third round, we're making pretty good time. It's a little after 9 p.m. Central, so a little over an hour, and we're already through 3 rounds. We're going to start taking interviews, so if you're interested, pop into the voice chat. Let Maniac know that that's why you're in voice chat, is you want to be interviewed. And we'll talk about your offseason, talk about your draft so far, talk about what your predictions are, what the outlook is for your team as we move into season 112, and we'll start doing that now. So if you want to start popping in and getting ready, you can go ahead and do that. Let him know, and if not, me and him will just keep talking for the next hour and a half or so as we get to the end of the third round. Also, after these next 3 picks, I will be speeding us up and skipping when we get to the 1 minute mark. I've already let everybody know in an all tag. I've said it like 7 times here. And when you're done drafting, please go to the not at draft and let me know. I'm keeping a running list of players to skip there, as the Buffalo Bills are up, and then it's going to be over to Dallas before Mr. Dwayne bows out for the night and goes and takes a nap and gets ready for work. So we got the Bills and the Cowboys here. Round 3 is going to be wrapped up. I wish this stayed for a few seconds before it flopped to the next round, because Well, we can't take a picture of the last team that picks. It automatically goes. Kyle Hazelwood, a wide receiver, goes to the Browns. Chris Jenkins, I feel like they picked a couple wide receivers, maybe not. Chris Jenkins, a center, is going to go play for Pepper and his Chargers. Buffalo Bills are up here. Dallas Cowboys. Two teams that were in OMFL Bowl 111 and had a hell of a game. It sort of snowballed there for the middle rounds of that game for the Buffalo Bills. They were able to fight their way back into it. Big play off the left side. Wide receiver catches it, rolls out, scores. But just Dallas was relentless run game. What he was able to do with Overton, I forget exactly what his name was, their middle linebacker these users, just making all kinds of great plays. Clyde Tribert out of Ohio State, left outside linebackers. We continue to see that run on linebackers go. Why don't you talk about him as I try to go make my pick before my 1 minute is up?
Yeah, so Clyde Tribert, he is a good pick here. It says he was ranked number 28 in true value, and you drafted him 95. He's, like I said, rated B. He's 87 speed, 89 acceleration. Change of direction is 78, 75 strength. His skill sets show play recognition is at A. He is a run stopping linebacker. Block shed is A. Impact blocking is A. Awareness is B. And he has capabilities of also being a decent coverage guy in zone, but he's going to make his forte tackling the ball runner and with play recognition. Look like he's going to be a smart player, and he's also 22, so he's young, big, and he's going to be somebody that really can build up here within the next couple of seasons.
I'm coming down to the end of my draft board, so I would assume everybody else is too. Again, we're going to try to let this thing go a little past 1 minute, and then we're going to start simming it. I'm going to be gracious with it, but we are going to try to do that. Looks like we got a couple people that are ready to be interviewed. I'll let you go ahead and tell me who we're bringing on first.
Yeah, so first we have Kobe, and also Dwayne said he would like to get an interview in before he passes out. So I don't know if Kobe's okay to let Dwayne go first so we can get him in, get him out, and then also Tim is wanting to be interviewed.
I see that I see that we're at a minute and a half for these picks, so good thing I caught that. I almost simmed Mr. Massimo, and I would have felt really bad about that. Let me sim this one. So when it gets to 30 seconds, I'm skipping ahead here. We're going to keep this puppy going. Mr. D. Wayne, our OMFL Bowl champion for season 111, our Press Pass Live buddy, getting ready to go to bed so he can get ready and go to work, because that's all that guy knows how to do. He just work, making all that cash, all that grass, all that green. D. Wayne, congratulations on a great season. What do we think about our draft so far?
Uh-oh.
Now, D. Wayne?
Can y'all hear me all right?
Now we got you.
Okay, I muted myself twice there. Yeah, that's about what it is right now. It's just work. Now, I appreciate that. Like I said, I still have to give it to Maniac. He was a hell of a, OMFL Bowl competitor. Fought back. There's nothing to scoff at when everything kind of rolled my way, and he still was in a one-possession game. You got to give a lot of credit to Maniac, and I figure the Bills are going to be a team fight back this year. I will say this draft, it's went so I will say D-Money took the guy I was going to take in the first round with his last first-round pick, that quarterback from Arkansas.
See, even when he doesn't play you, he finds a way to get at you.
That's a fact. I said it just worked out perfect. A scrambling quarterback from Arkansas, I said, yes, it's great, and D-Money steals him. But yeah, it worked out well. After losing Lamb for that OMFL Bowl game, I decided to kind of invest in one of the first round. So I went with a 6'4" wide receiver who is pretty quick, who has like a 96 or 97 vert or something like that, and hoping I can just kind of add a little bit of variety in my receiving corps. In the second round, I went with a hard-hitting safety because my safeties are getting older, and then I just went with offensive lineman with Zach Martin retiring. So through my first 3 rounds, I feel like I filled the holes I need to fill, and I guess I'll just have to wait one more year on drafting a Dak Prescott replacement.
Mr. Maniac, you're going to be up here in one more pick, so I'll keep this thing going here.
Okay.
Dak Prescott, you got to wait one more year. You're starting to fill some holes, which is every man's dream. What is it really going to take, though, for you to repeat? 49ers are going to be trying to come back. We've seen him have a hell of a run here. Seahawks have to be bitter after a really tough loss again. What's it going to take for your Cowboys to make it back?
The passing game's got to be better. I kind of made it to the playoffs on my defense and kind of leaned towards my run and passing just enough to keep guys honest. And like I said, that's kind of why I invested. I was kind of, when Meek had posted Metcalf in the chat, I kind of talked to him about it. I think he was not wanting to see Metcalf in a Cowboys uniform, and so he shipped him to the AFC. And so I kind of went, like I said, I kept that first-round pick, went with the receiver first round, hoping – pairing him with Lamb, that I can just add a little bit more receiving threat. And like I said, I got Dak for 2 more seasons, this season, the upcoming one, and then I'm going to have to go cheap at quarterback because everybody else is getting expensive. So, I'm going to try and enjoy these 2 years, and probably next offseason I'll probably try to lean towards a quarterback and let him sit for a year, and then it'll be his show to run. But yeah, I'll have to be a better passing team this year. My defense, for the most part, held together. I kind of kept everybody together at least for 1 more year. So I'm hoping that my defense can, buy me a little time to work on my passing game, and I still have McMullen at running back to do what he does, and I'm just going to have to pass better because I can't get lucky that Maniac's going to make a mistake or two, because if he don't make those mistakes, that game's probably not close. The same way with Meek. I think Meek had 2 red zone turnovers against me. That game's not close if I don't get those turnovers, so I don't think I'm going to be able to rely on that this year. I'm going to have to be able to pass the ball and put a little more pressure on these other guys.
Do you feel like you answered the skill position and depth at the skill position so far?
As well as I could. The wide receiver corps and free agency was so. You were going to overpay a little bit for an older guy, and so I kind of went towards. I was sitting here debating that quarterback early or receiver. Well, D-Money made that decision for me. He made it really easy to just go with kind of my second guy, which was a big, tall receiver, which I really have never had. And so I'm going to play with it a little bit and maybe see if I can, put that big body to use on the opposite side of the field as Lamb. And I do think this is probably one of the better skill sets I've had. We'll see how he works out with the running back and my quarterback and Lamb. I think we should be all right. But like I said, the OMFL is only getting more competitive. A lot of these teams, as y'all said earlier on the draft show, a lot of these guys, like Kobe's a good example of that with a team. He starts out for the Titans, who are not a great team, and he's got off season to put people together and kind of get some pieces in place. And that goes with a lot of these teams. I think the OMFL as a whole is only going to be better in the second season. So I think all these guys that made the playoffs better not get comfortable, because there's a lot of people fixing to take their spot.
You better be careful. Mama always said if you play with it too much, you're going to go blind. Mr. Maniac, what do you got for the guy that you faced in OMFL Bowl number 1? I just realized that I paused the draft. My bad. 111.
Yeah, I was fixing to tell you. Dwayne, man, that was such a great game, man. You're such a fierce competitor and stuff, and are you really as far as you're trying to kind of evaluate your team? You said Zach Martin retired, so I know that's got to be a big hit, because he was such a force in the middle of the offensive line for you. Were you looking at trying to either develop somebody to take that spot, or you think you got the guy now that's going to step in and really be that anchor for you?
Well, the last guy I drafted, he was pretty solid, had very good physical attributes. I had to have to look at him real close on some of his other stuff, but I think I picked a guy in free agency maybe to just kind of hold over till he gets in there, or just in case I didn't get it, the guy. He'll probably plug in, though, a right guard right behind Zach Martin. But last season, I kind of focus trained Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe most of the season because I knew that my offensive line was getting older, and I knew that I was going to replace that right guard, so I tried to build up everything else around him. And they're not Zach Martin caliber by any means, but that right guard spot will just be my weakest spot. The other 4 spots are, if not, extraordinary, they are real solid players. So I feel pretty confident that I should still be able to play what I want to do. I just would love to be able to pass the ball a little better. You made me look like an amateur the way you passed the ball in the OMFL Bowl. Outside of a few passes, yeah, you passed the ball outstanding. And so I try to watch a couple of you guys, and I really need to take some notes, because if I can't pass this season, I think I'm going to be in a bind with how good some of these teams and these players are adjusting to this game.
Well, you're like one of the best middle linebacker users in this league, man, and you put a lot of pressure with your defensive line, and it makes guys have to make very quick reads, and sometimes like you were talking about, you said you watched a little bit of film on my game against Denver, and then I kind of watched a little bit of your film that you played on the championship game on your side, and trying to find tendencies on each other and stuff, and I know I was like, when I was watching your game, I was like, man, Dwayne is just like, he is tough to find a weakness, and I thought I found one, but it didn't pan out because, again, you were a little bit better, I think, at kind of changing up things especially after that first drive. I took up nearly the first quarter, and then you kind of changed some stuff up. So kudos to you, man, for really changing up what you were doing there to make the adjustment and stuff. But I definitely see you in the NFC East being another tough run that I think kind of, when you got guys like Bill and the Eagles and stuff, you see those guys, and what kind of drives you in that division? Like, I know some of those games can be really competitive, because those you play with those guys. Some of these guys you've been playing for like 2 or 3 Maddens now. So, what's kind of like the competition over there between you guys?
Well, I think some of the guys in the NFC East are some of the most underrated here. I think everybody, I've played here for a long time. Bill's played for a long time, and if anybody knows, I've been harping on how good Twinkie is. He just can't get out of his own way sometimes, but Twinkie is a hell of a player, and has probably gave me as many losses as 99% of the people here. But the most underrated one in our division is Shiloh. Shiloh, the last game of the season, it was kind of fluky, but I watched him be competitive in every game, and he gave me one of the hardest games I had all season the first time we played. And I don't know if I've ever been as dumbfounded on offense watching a defense play against me, where I honestly couldn't figure out what he was doing. And I think he is a sleeper this season. That Washington team has some talent, has a young quarterback. I haven't paid attention to what he's did this offseason, but I wouldn't sleep on Shiloh. He's one hell of a player. And like I said, I think if he stayed plugged in, if most guys don't know, I think he lives in like Taiwan, maybe.
Yeah.
And so I do think the time thing really throws off. I think when I was playing him one night, he was fixing to go into work, and I can only imagine kind of throwing that around like that. But our division's great. They really are. We're in our little, NFC East group message chat. Keep everybody up to date. Kind of shoot some stuff back and forth between us four. And but I think between Twinkie and Shiloh, I think the NFC East, you have two, and that's not a shot at Bill. Everybody knows how good Bill is and how great of an owner and person he is here. The other two ones, though, don't sleep on them, because Twinkie and Shiloh might surprise some people.
Well,
Nice.
Speaking of sleeping, we need to let you get off to sleep. But before
That's
we
right.
go, we got to tap into your Press Pass Live. On the surface, who do you think had the best draft so far?
Just glancing through it, you can choose the teams that pick some home run hits. You can pick some teams that had the most draft picks. And I know he's harping on his own stuff, but after seeing him sell half his draft picks this year and had half the league mad at him, he got half his draft picks back. I know he's going to brag on his own players, but Parise, I thought, had a really solid draft. I think he's took a different approach to his normal build, which is severely overpay in free agency and trade his picks away. And I hope he sticks with this. Y'all were talking about earlier about how these guys build these teams and stuff like that. And I've always said, I thought you have your star players, you draft a really young, cheap rookie guys to back him up, and don't overpay for middling free agents. And I think that goes a long way, and that's the approach I would tell Priest to do, and I think he's did a really good job of it. And I know his is probably quantity over quality, but to get 8 or 9 rookie, cheap guys, he can afford to overpay 1 or 2 guys. And I would have to give Priest the early edge just for sheer quantity of cheap players he picked up.
Mr. Dwayne, go get some sleep. Thanks for hanging out with us a little bit here, and good luck to you in season 112, bud. That trophy should show up here in the next couple of days.
All right, I sure appreciate it. Good night, guys. Kobe, I appreciate you letting me jump in front of you.
Nah, buddy.
There you have it, Mr.
Good night.
Dwayne of the Dallas Cowboys and of Press Pass Live, my right-hand guy. Appreciate him. Let's bring in Mr. Kobe. It's so hard to not say owner of the Jets and to switch my head over to owner of the Tennessee Titans, but that's where he is now. Kobe, thank you for making time for us, buddy. Not the season you wanted, but you took over a heck of a rebuild there. How are we feeling about the rebuild just in general?
Yeah, I mean, it really wasn't the season I wanted. I feel like the first half really, to not put it lightly, I feel like a little humbled. I really didn't expect to have so many I had a really hard time passing. I feel like a lot of us did. And I haven't had a hard time passing since I started, which was pretty humbling. So having to relearn how this game handles the passing mechanics was really difficult. But by the end, I kind of figured out just to run the ball, which really hurt my soul. It hurt my soul so much. The rebuild, I think, is going pretty well. I only had 3 picks in the first 4 rounds. I've got all dev. I went trenches, which is completely against my motto in every sense of the word, but I think it'll benefit me in the long run.
What's the key? What is the 1, maybe 2 positions that you're like, man, I got to get this figured out as we move into this next season?
I need to increase Jordan Love's output somehow, some way. I paid him because it's Jordan Love. He's got the best throwing motion in the game. He's good. He's a good quarterback. He needs to play good. But I also think I need to bring in some younger talent. The one thing about the Titans that I don't know is overlooked at all, but everyone's 26 or 27, which in real life, not bad. In Madden, everyone's about to regress.
Yeah.
It's so hard to save somebody or want to put XP into a player when it's possible at the end of the season it's all going to go away.
Mr. Maniac, what you got for our guy, Kobe?
Yeah, Kobe, man, you definitely turned it around the end of the season, made one of the strongest second half seasons of the OMFL, I think, with you, and I think there's a couple other guys that really had a strong second half season. Talking about regression, what do you look at when you come into a draft like this? Are you trying to draft really the best players, even though they might be say 23 or 24 sometimes we see in Madden, or would you take a little bit lesser talent but also with basically the same attributes of speed and acceleration and around the same area, but with also an extra 3 years to really kind of build that player up? What would be your kind of outlook on that?
I think first and foremost, it's youth. So a younger guy with speed, I would take them over a more developed 23-year-old, if we're talking about that specifically. But that's the normal mindset I've had. It's been working pretty well. But I've noticed that with that mindset, occasionally, most of the time, I have hit normal development traits, I feel like, most drafts. So my philosophy for this draft was a little bit different, which I'm just trying to take the best player available at that time, which is why I took 2 trench players to start with. I felt like they were the best players available. And then even with this wide receiver, I had the wide receivers scouted. So the only reason I took that wide receiver is because he was a talent of 1 to 2 all the way in the 4th round.
Oh, wow. Looking at your division, I know you don't want to give your opponents poster material or anything like that, but looking at your division, kind of the way it played out this last season, looking forward to this next season and seeing what the guys in your division are doing in the draft. What do you think is going to be probably your main competition? I know that you were, middle of the pack there, but looking at what they've done in free agency and this draft, who do you think is going to be the main competition, possibly pushing you and others for that top spot out of your division?
The only person last year that actually frustrated me to play was the Jacksonville Jaguars. I expect that to be the same going forward. I simply do not jive with his play style, which isn't a bad thing. He loves to play the game the way he loves. Me personally, it grinds my gears, so he can be a little frustrating to play against. And his play style counters mine so perfectly. Yeah. You run the ball heavy. You don't give me time to pass the ball. If I'm not on my game, I'm going to lose by 30. And he's the only person in the entire league that has ever limited me to 0 points. And that alone means war for me. So he gives me the most problems. My goal is to absolutely eviscerate him in the next season. And the other two guys, I expect Mr. Pancake, because I think it's funny to call him Mr. Pancake, to absolutely bounce back. Anthony Richardson's too good of a quarterback. His team is too good. I was speaking to him in the season, and he was having a hard time, like all of us, with the way the game was playing. But I expect him to figure it out and not be a top draft pick. And Raj is always capable of competing. Sometimes I think Raj is just down to have fun, but he's definitely capable of competing. He can give anyone a run for money any week. So I think my division will probably in totality bounce back and be super competitive.
Raj is a more coherent priest. That's what Raj is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Raj does like to air the ball out, and man, he is not shy about throwing those streaks out there at any moment in the game. But when you got a guy that at wide receiver, he does the 98 acceleration, 99 speed, pretty much across the board, and I would probably take a few more chances airing it out deep as well. But What are you looking at, like, not to give away any of your draft secrets, but like in these final 5 through 7 rounds, are you looking at just getting one thing that you're looking at, like strength, speed? Is that kind of your motive, making a pick and hoping that you kind of maybe stumble across a decent guy?
I think, like I said, in this draft, I'm trying to take the best talent available. The only people I have left on my board that I know the talent are wide receivers. So each round I'm looking at the highest talent available there, and then looking at his physicals and determining if that's worth even drafting. Because some guys can be around 1 to 2 talent, but have marginal speed. And unless I can potentially move him to tight end, no wide receiver can play with marginal speed.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing I'm going to do. And then secondly, I'm just going via my depth chart and what I need to fill out, because I think I only had like 42 players on my roster just based on how free agency panned out and everything going into the draft. So that'll end up being my goal, probably filling the depth chart. Not really worried too much, probably just going straight off physicals.
Okay.
Kobe, what is like an underrated project position on your team? What is something that is underrated, but you're like secretly excited to go get your hands on? And it is your pick, so feel free to go make this pick if you need to.
I think I'm just gonna make this pick right here, based on what I just said.
There you go.
We'll see. I'll see what his stuff is in a second. But underrated. I honestly think my corners are underrated because they're not like, I have one in L'Jarius Sneed who is like really fast, really good. hands down. But then my number 2 and number 3 have like 91 speed and 89 speed, and they are just not like looked at, I think, as like those top tier guys. But I think they played much better than our statistics would say. But honestly, I just had such a bad year. Everything's bad, so they're all underrated, right?
Yeah. What brings you the most excitement about your schedule, your team as we roll into season 112? And then with that, give me a prediction. What do you think is going to be with the Titans this year?
I saw that I played Meek, who, I mean, that's one of my best friends. I mean, sometimes I've played games at his house. Like I don't live very close to him. I'm like a 4-hour drive away. But when I go visit family and I don't say I'm going on vacation, I play games there, which is sometimes why I don't stream, because I'm not home. Yeah. So like I'm excited to play him. And then I also saw D-Money on the schedule, which is always fun for me. I love playing D-Money. I love playing that guy. And honestly, I didn't remember the rest of my non-divisional games. I saw those two and I was like, that's going to be fun. And then I went back to drafting. Those are the two things I saw that has me really excited about this schedule. And then, I'm scatterbrained. What was the second part?
Give me a prediction. What do we expect from your Titans this year?
Well, after finishing 9-8, my realistic goal is 11 wins. My hopeful goal is 15. I want 15. I want to reassert myself, if you will.
Well, hopefully you don't assert yourself on my team, because I got enough of that with the 49ers and everybody else I got to play, and only 3 wins. How I got that schedule, I don't know. But Kobe, you're always the best. I appreciate you making time to come be on the draft show. Good luck as you wrap things up, but looking forward to seeing what you do in season 112, bud.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
There you have it, Mr. Kobe of the Tennessee Titans. Man, it's been a long time since we've seen the Titans be a team that is contending in the OMFL. I mean, we had great owners, but owners that had a hard time getting those teams going. And I hope Kobe can do it. I hope he can turn things around.
It was either guys that couldn't turn the team around or they couldn't follow the rules. So that's
yeah, well, we know about that. Let's I got something for them.
You know the rules, and so do I.
all right. So we actually have Tim. He said he's in the chat, and then also we're gonna have Nice Songer right after him.
Nice. So let's talk to our buddy Tim. Tim and Nice Songer are both buddies. I think they work together. Let's welcome in Mr. Tim of the Detroit Lions, a team that had a really great Madden 24. I mean, he took over a great team. He took over an OMFL Bowl winning team, but he did his part to keep them going. Tim, welcome into the show, bud.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Tim, let's talk about your team. Solid draft from you so far. Are you happy with the draft?
Oh, I went to my fourth option on who to pick. I had no clue, even minutes before the draft, what the draft direction was going to go. I sort of approached this draft looking at the long-term future of what do I need to accomplish, what positions I need to get to replace guys, keep the highly talented roster going. So that was my number one goal.
Mr. Maniac, what we got from Mr. Tim?
All right, Tim. So congratulations so far on your draft. Look like you've had a couple pretty good guys that you've drafted. So what would be your top guys so far that you feel like you've drafted so far in this draft?
Well, I drafted the player I had to draft. I had to come up with a plan to replace Goff. Goff's salary, as I showed in the main chat room, creeps up from $20 million to $74 million.
Whew.
He's got to go. He's got to go. And I have to have a plan for a quarterback. So the future came a year early. But nothing wrong with that. If that's what you need, that's what you need.
Why not Hendon Hooker? I want to let you finish that thought, but why not Hendon?
I practiced with him, and I never could have consistency that I wanted.
Yeah.
I actually let him go. I put him in the practice squad, and then Eagles Twinkie wanted to select him. And I said, "Go for it."
Oh, I didn't even realize he wasn't on your team. So yeah, okay. Well, yeah, you definitely had to
I did not
make a
either.
move. Well, I know that there was some guys in free agency. Let's see, like the guy from the Dolphins. What's his name? The Tua. He didn't look like he cost a whole lot. Was there any thought of possibly maybe picking up a free agent, or did you just luck out on that, or what was?
No,
what was that?
no. I wanted the rookie quarterback deal. I needed that for the cap reasons. The OMFL Lions and the real life Lions have the same problem. And the same problem is they're very young, very talented, and very underpaid. And sooner or later, they want to get paid. So keeping the nucleus together was the number one goal. And sometimes it's not pretty sending players out, or in this case, slowly pushing Goff out and replacing it with another player to move the money aside to somewhere else.
Yeah, it's always a difficult, decision, and based upon you're playing with your favorite team. Always found that even more difficult because you do have a little bit of a allegiance to those guys because you watch them week in, week out, and then you play with them every day. In a Madden league like this, so that it kind of grows that. I guess that.
Are you kidding me? My kids saw me draft Fargus, and they said, "Does that mean you're getting rid of Goff?"
That's
What
amazing.
did he do wrong?
He failed
They
drug
know
test.
him, and it's like, no. This is not real life. He's still our quarterback. Don't worry. It's just sometimes you got to make a business move on this league.
Yeah, and so that was kind of like my point, because sometimes you get a little attached to guys, and it's hard to in your mind, okay, I'm playing in a video game, so I've got to let them go, and move on. But what part of your roster so far through either free agent or maybe this new quarterback has you most excited about for this upcoming season?
Well, I noticed early on the last season that the running lanes weren't popping. The offensive line wasn't gelling like I would have. So I've typically liked to run behind my best run blocker, my best offensive lineman. And I noticed that when I was running most of my plays, I was running away from him. So I came up with the idea of moving Penny Sewell from right tackle to left guard. So now I got a big run blocking guard that Gibbs and Montgomery are going to right behind him. And
So that
losing Zettler to retirement allowed that plan to work.
Yeah, so that seems to be your kind of your game plan going into this next season. Then run the rock and try to develop this young quarterback, I guess. Then I know you've got a really good nucleus of wide receiver core and your skill players. You definitely have a lot of good skill players on your team. So is that going to be kind of like the game plan going into the season? Run the rock, kind of power the rock.
Yeah, and don't make stupid mistakes and throw the ball and interceptions. That's pretty much it. I limited my turnovers in the second half of the season, and as you saw firsthand, I was very good towards the end of the season.
Yeah, you beat me like 33-3 or something like that. So, you had me scratching my head. I didn't know what was going on or what I had to do to even get a first down a couple times, man. Because your defensive line was just absolutely everywhere in the backfield. So, But yeah, man, that looked like you're going to have a really good team, and good luck on your season. And that's all the questions for me right now. So I'll turn it over to Nate.
Yeah, before you get out of here, what is the expectation for that division? I know that season kind of was up and down for you. You got a rookie quarterback. Now, I tend to believe rookie quarterbacks are very difficult for a majority of us to win with because you do turn the ball over a lot. But what are you expecting out of your division?
The division is mine. I am the king of the North. Colin won the division this year, but he's not going to last long on top. I was 4-2 during my division opponents, with splitting my game versus Priest and splitting my game versus Colin. So there's no excuses. I'm in prime position to make a move if I can be as consistent as I was in the second half of last season.
Last question for me. What is the part of your team, position, maybe position group, player? What's the part of your team that you're most excited about for season 112?
Oh, that's a great question. I would love to get the running game going, because if I can get the running game open, that opens up the play action. That opens up the fake runs to the runs of jet sweeps and the fake jet sweeps, and you name it. It all starts with the running game. And truthfully, so does the real life Lions. It starts with Montgomery and Gibbs. It starts with Sonic and Knuckles. And it starts with those two guys running the ball to set up everything else.
Well, Mr. Tim, I'm pulling for you, bud. It's always funner whenever the Lions are playing great. And I see Mr. Colin in here, so I hope Colin wants to be interviewed, especially now that the King of the North has declared himself to be King of the North. Thank you for hanging out with us, buddy. Good luck to you in season number 112.
Good luck. Thanks.
All right, who we got next, man?
So we definitely have a full NFC North group in here. So Nysonger's next, and then Colin after that.
Mr. Nysonger, let's bring in our buddy Nysonger, your owner of the Minnesota Vikings and good buddy of Mr. Tim. Mr. Nysonger, welcome to the show. We missed you on the OMFL ball. I know that the time thing got confusing. I apologize about that. Thanks for joining the show tonight.
Nice to be here.
Let's talk about your team. How do you feel about the draft? We're here at the beginning of the 6th round. You got a couple picks. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 picks in the 6th round. How you feeling about your team so far?
Well, I was able to, because of the real life Vikings, I had a crap ton of cap space, so I went out and got a few one-year rentals on some positions and didn't have a lot of picks, so I traded back and traded around to get more picks to be able to fill out the roster. So I had to set myself up to be able to stay steady this year and kind of look for the next season.
What's the one goal that you needed, though, as you moved into this offseason? What was the number one priority list, whether it was free agency, finding a position, a trade, finding a position, or a draft pick? What was the one priority for you?
Upgrading the cornerback room. Other than Marshall, Gilmore had quite a few picks and 3 pick sixes on the year, but his speed cost me a lot at times in his old age. I had to get younger and a little faster. I feel like got younger by trading with Tim and getting Carlton Davis. I was able to pick up Carter to go in the slot. He's got some good speed. Upgrading that cornerback room was priority 1.
Mr. Maniac, what do you got for Nysonger?
All right, Nysonger, I know we were talking about in the chat earlier about the difference between the Deuce Madden League that we used to be in before we switched over to the college game. We were talking about, like, my guys are gone, so my question is, like, is it like amazing for I don't know how many drafts you've been so far in the OMFL, but seeing how the drafts unfold in the OMFL compared to the Deuce, it's a lot different. Is it just kind of give me your take on like the feeling and watching like some of those guys like, oh yeah, this guy's going to be here at this round, and all of a sudden he's getting drafted in the first round. You're like, no. Just kind of give me your feeling on it.
Before you answer, I just want you to know you're up now, and you got 3 picks in a row. So if you need to go do that, go do that.
Oh, I'm sitting right here. I'm doing it. At the same time.
All right, perfect.
So my biggest thing is like I said earlier about Patrick Bacon, my big defensive tackle. I got him in the 3rd round or 4th or 5th round, and he was a stud in the deuce. And I was thinking I was going to be able to do the same thing, moving back, being able to keep.
Yeah, you see,
just sit and wait. It wasn't happening.
Yeah, that's one thing. Like with and go ahead and make your pick, man. So I'll kind of talk here. That's one thing that's so different here in the OMFL as compared to the Deuce, because you could kind of, even though we had like 20 something guys, playing normally throughout the Deuce that entire time, it was always like, there was a guy slipping through the cracks here and there. He'd always seem to get in the 3rd round or whatever, the 4th round. I think even Little Koch, I think, picked up a guy, if I remember right, like in the 5th round over there. It was like a 99 speed cornerback that was like 6'4" or something like that. So it was kind of crazy, how sometimes those things would happen. But definitely, what do you feel like so far in this draft? What has been your best pick that you made so far, and the impact it's going to have on your team going forward? And if you need if you need to wait,
I'd have to say it's the defensive tackle. But pairing him with Harrison Phillips, who can clog up a lane, should give me the interior pass rush to be able to get after quarterbacks from the inside instead of just on the outside with my edge rushers. He looks like he's going to be able to blow up gaps the way I want him to.
Yeah, that's definitely. I think as you heard Tim, the guy that's going to be in your division, talking about how he is going to focus on running the ball. That's definitely something that you got to address. And so talking and just kind of going into that, Tim being a buddy of yours, work buddy and stuff, how has that rivalry within that division, how has that blossomed between you two guys, even at work?
Oh, those games would mean more to me than a bowl game. And he's had the upper hand lately. And I'm looking at getting back at him and reclaiming that, defend the North that the Vikings have had over the Lions for years.
Yeah, so whenever looking at those, when you come into a game that you're fixing to play, Tim, is it like you guys, I mean, obviously we're a 72-hour advanced league, so is it like for the next 48 hours at work, you're just constantly like, no, you're going down, no, you're going down, no, I'm going to run all over your butt, type of thing. Is that what's going on at work?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of that banter. People at work, even when we were on the same shift, we're not on the same shift anymore. But when we were on the same shift, there were people at work that were getting into it and feeding into it as well. It was fun. It makes it that much more enjoyable to, go head to head.
Just one more question for me. Far as like being in leagues and stuff, what's been your overall experience in the OMFL? Just kind of describe, the maybe like the things that you've didn't know like several years ago that maybe you weren't in an online league or in one that didn't really have like all this stuff like the draft show and different things, and what's your thoughts on it and how you've enjoyed it or maybe not enjoyed it or whatever. So
easy. What a setup question.
Well, to be honest, the OMFL and Deuce are the first leagues I've ever played in. Everything else I'd ever done was head-to-head, no rules. Having the rules for people like me, I'm pushing toward 40. I like that old school football. it allows you to use that strategy and mindset of, okay, I'm going to try this on this down, and okay, if that's okay, this didn't work, I'm going to go to this. If I hit this short pass, it gives me third and short. You know, it makes you use your brain instead of just going, oh, I know I can beat this coverage with this play and move this person here and move this route here. And it makes you actually think. It keeps you on your toes, and it's, quite honestly, it's been amazing. And everything you guys do with it, the draft shows, the press live, Monday nights, I get out of work, I'm like, babe, you're going to hear other people talking because I'm listening to Press Pass Live. Tell my wife that every Monday.
I was making my pick there too. So, well, we appreciate you, man. I've enjoyed having you even in the Deuce, man. You're one of the best owners that we have, and really appreciate you. And I'm looking forward to seeing you be competitive and give these guys in the NFC North a run for their money.
I'm going to try to.
I don't know what's going on in Minnesota. We got people slipping in the cracks and blowing up the gaps. This is a rated G show here tonight, Nicesonger. What's it going to take for your Vikings to turn the corner and compete in that division?
Not turning the ball over. I gave Colin a run for his money in our first game, turned the ball over too much. I ended up pulling it out in the second game. I lost my train of thought. I was able to beat him in the second game. I was able to give Priest a run and beat him in my second game. I'll tell you, that's his style of defense or offense competes with me all over. And then for the first time in a while, me and Tim had a real close game in the last one, but I turned the ball over a little bit too much there. So not turning the ball over. The whole passing game, it had me frustrated all season.
Nicesonger, what is a surprising position on your team that you can't wait to use in season 112?
I'm going to cheat a little bit here and say that new defensive tackle, because I try to stay away from using him, even though we're allowed to, but I can't wait to try to use him. Yeah, the speed, he's got a decent strength, a decent speed, nice finesse moves. I can't wait to see if I can blow up an A-gap and be on a quarterback quicker.
What's the mainstay? Is my last question. What's the mainstay of your team? The part of your team that you felt was really solid last season and will continue to be solid this year, something you can build on?
My run game. I let Aaron Jones walk. He, the other side of 30, he went from a superstar development to a normal development at that point. So I went out and traded for a younger running back, got Blake Corum, and then I went and I kept Ty Chandler instead of trading him away so I can have a 1-2 punch. But last year, my two top running backs were averaging more than 5 yards a carry, and that carried me to where I was at. And then I got away from it and started going backwards. So I think I got to stick with the run game and keep using it and leaning on it.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to see what you can do with those Vikings. Anytime the Vikings are playing good, it makes that division all that much better, which makes the OMFL better. So, man, we're pulling for you. Good luck in season 112. Thanks for making time for us tonight.
Thanks. Have a good night.
There you have it, Mr. Nicesonger of the Minnesota Vikings. What a good dude. Just one of those good guys that you want to have in your league. You want to sort of build from that base. And I do believe he's going to get those Vikings turned around. The tough part in this league is that when the bottom half of your league, the owners who did not have a good season, they do get better, but their record doesn't always show that, right? Because the top half of this league is so good. There's some really magnificent players here, and I'm trying not to skip him, but I feel like we let him go a couple of times. But these players do get better. Their record just doesn't always correlate to them getting better. There you have it. We've had a couple of good people here tonight. We still got a couple more. I see Colin in here, Logan in here, Penguins has been in here for quite some time. So who's up next?
Yeah, Colin is. The other two didn't let me know anything,
Oh, okay.
so I didn't know they were in here. So,
Well, hit up Maniac
so-
if you guys are interested, if you're just in here listening, because sometimes guys just poke in to listen. Just send him a DM and let him know. Let's bring on my guy, Mr. Colin. This guy is so, what's the word I'm looking for? God, I'm loose. I can't think of it. It's too late at night. I've been talking too long today. I'm out of words. This, not studious, but like, I don't know. He's very like, he's the kind of guy that you want to have your back when things go haywire at 2 a.m. and people have had too much to drink. But let's welcome in Mr. Colin, your coach of the Chicago Bears. Mr. Colin, thanks for making some time for us tonight. Maybe, unless we put him to sleep. You do show muted, so if you're with us, you're muted. That's why we can't hear you. But you may not be with us. I mean, you're here, but in spirit.
let me send him another message on.
I can unmute
Discord.
him, but I will let you do your thing with him. I guess I can't unmute him. I thought I could. We'll figure out, Mr. Collin, as we wrap up round number 6. Man, I can't believe we're already here at the end, and there's plenty of time left in the night. I think we're at like 9:40. Oh, no, it's 10. Sorry. I guess time scooted away from me there as we get to the end.
I'm dying. Help me.
I'm tired. Oh, we got more people popping in. I seen Trey popping in. He's going to be in here to listen. I see Mr. Big Hurt popping in. And D-Wayne said his wife was going to help, but I'm starting to, question her. I don't know if she's actually here to help. Did we get Colin figured out?
He said he's trying to unmute himself.
Yeah, I can't. I thought I could unmute him, but it doesn't let me. I mean, I could mute him, but I don't have him muted. He's unmuted on my end, so let me see. Let me skip Mr.
Maybe if he tries to join or unjoin and then rejoin, it might change.
Yeah, maybe. He was quick on that. It's like he was ready.
Yeah,
I feel bad because I don't know if he's on his phone, if he's on a computer. But usually there's a little dilly dad at the bottom here that turns your microphone on and off. Mr. Collins, you still muted? I can't unmute you. Can I? No, I can't. There's nothing. There's no option to unmute you. Colin, let him know if you're on phone or if you're on computer. Computer, it's the bottom left. Phone, I have no clue because I'm never on my phone. I could pull it up though and find out if I need to. Oh, we got the Eagles. I need to skip ahead. Duh.
I was going to say, I think it's usually on the top. Oh, he said he is on the phone.
You use your phone a lot on this.
Yeah, I'm actually on my iPad right now.
You almost said iPhone.
Let me see.
The Steelers have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks here in the 7th round. He was gobbling them picks up. I don't blame him. I like having these late round picks. I didn't get any this year. Again, Big Hurt, Logan, Penguins. If you guys want to talk, please send Mr. Maniac a message so you can get a nice little agenda put together, a little run of show, and we'll get you in here.
Okay, Colin, if you hear me at the bottom when you log in, it should show like the OMFL voice with all the little icons, and if you scroll that up, then it gives a list of everybody that's in there. So if you click on your name,
there he goes. It's unmuted now, Mr. Colin. Welcome to the show, bud.
There you go.
Uh-oh. He is unmuted, but I don't hear him. Stoic. That's the word I was looking for. Colin is very stoic. I'm sure he gets hyper from time to time, but I've just never experienced hyper Colin. He's always very stoic, very serious looking. He's very scary. He's very intimidating, Colin. If you've ever known, I'm very intimidated by you, but I still don't hear you. Not muted, but I don't hear you. Poor Colin, because he's done this before with us.
Yeah.
My guy
Is
Shocks.
there ever an OMFL technical difficulties?
No, there's never. My guy Shocks lied to me. Shocks, if you listen to the show, you told me you were picking. I ain't seen you pick in the last 3 rounds.
Okay, we also have a couple others. If we got time, they'll
got time
in as well.
Who's next? And you go work with Colin. See if you can help Colin figure it out. You seem to be my guru to help that. We got Penguins next, or Logan, or Big Hurt?
Logan, Penguins, and then
Sweet.
Big Hurt.
All right, let's welcome in Mr. Logan, your owner of the Los Angeles Rams. And what I think could be just because he had a lot of picks, but he's had arguably a top 3, if not the best draft here in the OMFL tonight. Mr. Logan, welcome to the show, bud.
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the league. It took us a while to get you here. You know, there's some bumps and bruises along the way, but we made it. You were here. Tell me about your team. You took over a roster that was really lacking talent. Tell me what that was going to take to turn around. What were your priorities as you moved into this offseason?
Yeah, so I had to switch up a little bit because of the regression. Cooper Kupp was going to stay, and I was going to use the 2 free cuts on Stafford and my left guard. But obviously the regression hit Cooper Kupp a little harder, so I wanted to clear those 2 most expensive contracts first and really just go into – I didn't have all the picks, obviously, because I wasn't the only owner this season. But I wanted to basically still have some good picks, but also spend a little bit in free agency and just kind of – my biggest hole to fill was the quarterback, and that's kind of why I went after Tua. And, cornerback, I threw some money at DJ Reed. A few middle linebacker stuff I didn't get, but, all in all, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm curious how this season's going to go with arguably the hardest division, but
yeah.
I'm excited, and I'm pretty happy with my draft so far right now. So, yeah.
You never hear like NFL GMs or coaches when they're doing interviews on draft night to hiccup or sneeze or I wonder how they avoid all of those things. Your team is in a crazy tough division. You go out and you get your quarterback in Tua. Ever play with a lefty? Do you feel comfortable having a lefty on your team?
I haven't not in this game, and I know a lot of people do not like using lefties, but I'm going to make it work. And if I don't, then next year I'll draft somebody else and just whatever. But I'm going into it with a positive mindset, and I'm just going to make Tua work, play to his strengths. And my biggest thing, everyone knows that's played me, is run the ball. When I don't run the ball is when I'm going to lose, start turning the ball over. My reads are awful. So I need to just play to his strengths, just like in real life, play off the screens, the runs, the short passes, the quick outs, stuff like that. And I think we'll be all right.
When you said everybody who plays me knows how I play, I almost made a bad joke and said, break FPR. I'm kidding. There was no FPR breaks from the Rams this year. This is all a joke. Maniac, what you got for our guy Logan?
Hey, Logan, this is definitely, I know you waited a long time to get here in the OMFL, and so congratulations on getting here.
Appreciate it.
Definitely, you've made some big-time moves. Outside of Tua, what do you think is for your team? Because you had to make tough decisions cutting Cooper Kupp, and then you let Stafford go. So you actually got some moolah there that you could work with. Outside of Tua, though, what is like the big pickups that you're really excited about for your team going into a really tough NFC West?
Outside of the draft, I did make a trade with Nicelonger for Jordan Addison to kind of fill Cooper Kupp's void. I was going to try to draft another wide receiver to be the third guy in the slot, but I'm not really liking that, so I'll probably have to go dabble in free agency again. But I'm most excited about that tight end, to be honest, because that was a hit-or-miss pick at 10, and he just had so many elite physicals and such. So I'm really excited for him. And honestly, the offense of the Rams wasn't bad. It was in the mid to high 80s overall. The defense is where it lacked. And I try to put some money into that. My 7th pick that I got in a trade was, I took that D tackle, and I recently made that trade with Penguins to get Benton at D tackle, so I can have 2 kind of stud young guys in the middle and kind of fill out from there, and the focus on the secondary. And I mean, in that division, it's going to be hard to stop people, so you're going to have good offense. But hopefully, a few of those games, I played a few close games with those guys already, and it really comes down to 1 or 2 plays, and hopefully the pickups I've made is going to make a difference in a few.
Yeah, looking at your draft, anybody outside of the one that you drafted first overall, your top draft pick, is there anybody that you're really like, I can't wait to get this guy incorporated into my offense or defense? Is there any one guy that you're really looking at?
Yeah, so I just had 3 6th-round picks, and the last one I got was a hidden dev cornerback with 89 speed, 95 excel hidden dev. So I'm pretty excited about that because a lot of my corners are about 5'9". So I was glad to see Metcalf go from the division and get out of here. But he gives me a little bit more size and speed, and we're going to see what he looks like after the draft. But I'm pretty excited about him. Hopefully he'll be able to stick to him like glue.
All right, Nate. That's it for me. I'm still trying to help Colin out here.
Well, Logan, don't dabble with the diddler out there. Let's talk about playing in that division. How do they bring out a better version of the Madden coach in Logan?
Man, they're going to keep you on your toes. And, I was like, well, I'm going to be here. And I know a lot of people, this is kind of like, when people get called up, this is kind of the team, that no one really wants. And I was like, well, if I'm going to be here, I'm going to make the best of it. I'm going to rebuild this team. And yeah, it is the hardest division, but I'm going to make the best of it. And, all 3 of those guys are really good. I've played them already at the end of last season and had some good games with them. But, they all just kind of play. They're some of the best in the entire community that I've ever played. So including the Deuce. So they really got to keep you on your toes, and you can't really slouch when you play them. You can't just kind of like sit back and vibe out. You got to kind of like sweaty palms, lean up in your chair, and play some good Madden football, to be honest with you.
Those are the kind of games we want to have here in the OMFL. What's it going to take for your team to turn it around this season?
I think developing the young guys that I've drafted, and to be honest, I think the play calls by myself and, kind of mixing up my play calls, because sometimes I can get very predictable. So once I start, I really let my opponents get in my head sometimes, to say the least. So I need to just keep my head, keep my game plan, run the ball, and play off that with the pass and just play solid style defense. And I think we'll be all right.
Logan, last 2-part question for me is we appreciate you making time for us tonight. What is a surprise position of strength for your team that you think will surprise teams next year? And then give me a prediction for your Rams. What do you think your Rams are going to do in season 112?
Man, I hate to beat a dead horse, but that tight end, I know there's some FPR rules that comes with that. But he's going to be a big part of my game plan, because he's 6'5", he's a big guy, he's elite, he can catch in traffic, he can go up and get it. And, I'm going to look. I will say I'm going to look and see if I can move him to wide receiver, but I have to check to make sure that's okay first and the position changes. But outside of that, I think that I'm just relying heavy on my defense, to be honest. In previous games and in the Deuce and such, that's what I rely on, is that defense. And, defense is a little harder this year in this game. But I think my defense is going to show up for a lot of, against those heavy hitters in the NFC West. And that's going to surprise some people.
Give me a prediction. What's the Rams going to do this year?
Man, pretty tough schedule, I will say that. But it seems like everybody has a tough schedule, to be honest. I'm hoping to go for at least 10, 11 wins and make the playoff. It is going to be tough, but, if I can just, like I said, keep my turnovers down and kind of fill out the depth after the draft, my depth chart, and make sure I have good backups when people get hurt, I think I'll be all right, to say the least.
Logan, I can't wait to see what you can do. I know that you're a great player. You're going to get this team rebuilt. You're going to get it figured out. Pulling for you in season 112, man. Good luck.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
There you have it, Mr. Logan of the Los Angeles Rams. Did we get Mr. Colin figured out, or are we still working on it?
You guys hear me?
There we go. Mr. Stoic Colin is with us. Let's welcome him in and cut the line because the poor guy's been here forever. Mr. Colin of the Chicago Bears. Colin, thanks for working through the technical issues and being with us tonight, bud.
Oh, no worries, man. It was all on my end. App permissions were off.
Oh, that's never fun to figure out. Let's talk about your Chicago Bears, man. You surprised the hell out of me. Not because I don't think you're a good coach. I just didn't think there was no way anyone could win with that roster. But boy, you turned it around, got that roster playing really great. How do you build off of a really good season 111?
Well, I mean, I did start off with a decent roster and had, the imports helped, had them in the right spots to really round out the roster. Building off it, just replacing players, just moving forward.
What is the number one sort of area of need or maybe priority area that you had coming into this business season?
Getting younger on defense. There were really two priorities: getting younger on defense and getting an offensive playmaker. I was able to get younger on defense, didn't get the playmaker, and that's going to be the goal for next year.
Maniac, what you got for our guy Colin?
Colin, yeah, Nate already touched on it, but we talked about it in Press Fest Live that you're going to have to really do some things with that team to make them really competitive, man. But you were really in the thick of things in the playoffs for the NFC side. Looking at your draft, any player that you've drafted so far that you're just truly excited to get on the field and test out, play with, because I know you like your offensive weapons. You got you're back to your old Panther days when you had DJ. I want some more at wide receiver. So.
No one I'm super excited about, but my first three picks were all defensive guys, a free safety and two linebackers, all hidden development, all have really solid athletic attributes, nothing crazy. So I feel like no home runs, but I hit some stand-up doubles. I feel like I'm in a good position. So really, those three guys, just getting them all worked in and just getting them developed.
All right. Now, looking at your we've already talked to all your competitors pretty much except for Priest tonight. It's turned out to look like it's going to be a very competitive division. So, what are the things, kind of the outlook that you're looking towards? Who's going to be probably your top competition? Because the Lions have already kind of proclaimed he's the king of the North. But give me a little bit of insight on that.
No, I understand where Tim and Nysonger are coming from. I won the division. I beat them the first time, both of them the first time we played last year, and then they came back and swept me on the second go around. I understand I've got the target on my back. It's probably going to be hard to match that intensity against them early on. I play, I think week 2 and 3. I forget what you order, but I think I've got Lions and Vikings week 2 and 3.
Oh wow!
Yeah, right after I opened with Dwayne, who knocked me out of the playoffs.
Oh man! So, what do you think you got to do this season to get back to the playoffs?
It's the same things every year. It's limit turnovers and red zone efficiency on both sides of the ball. I really don't have much to say. More than that. It really boils down to those simple things.
Yeah, and that's right. it's not commit the turnovers and then ball control. We've seen that so many times be the kind of the key to success. So I know we just finished the draft. But I just want to say, awesome run this past season. Good luck to you this season. And I'm glad I'm not in your division playing against those Bears because I think you're loaded and ready to go. So good luck, man.
I appreciate it, Maniac. And yeah, great season to you, man, too. I mean,
I appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah. You went a long way, pushed him hard, and you're going to be back better next year. And yeah, I mean, I think we've been playing in this league 7-8 years. One of these times we got to end up in a division together.
There you go, man.
Colin,
all right, take care, buddy.
Before you get out of here, the Bears, is this a roster that can compete and actually win an OMFL Bowl, or you still need some more pieces?
I think I'm close. I mean, I was dealt between the import and having Jalen Johnson off the get-go. I think I've got good cornerbacks. Again, on the wide receiver side, had the DJ Moore and Roma Dunze. I mean, I think I'm in a good spot there. Good young cornerback who I don't have to pay a lot of money. I think if I draft well, develop these guys, and then maybe throw my hat in the ring, like a really good free agent opens up in a year or two, I could be in a good spot.
Give me a prediction. What's a prediction for your Bears this season?
Oh, 8-8.
8-8. I'm taken back by that.
I know there's 17 games, but I'm just going 8-8 middle of the road.
I paused for a second because I was like, did he say something else or did he say numbers there? Like, that's how taken back I was back. This is why I love Colin so much. It's like, what do you want? A burger. That's it. That's all you're getting from that dude. If you need more information, you need to ask more questions because that's all you're going to get. Colin, last question for me. A surprise position for your team that you think will be a position of strength?
Surprise. So I'm going to go with middle linebacker. I think just on first glance, I think I've got a guy who's good, who I can develop. I think last year I had the Damian Wayne. I think I've got a similar type player, maybe not as strong, but I'm optimistic. Middle linebacker.
Well, Colin, I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for working through the issues and being with us tonight. Good luck to you in season 112, man. You're a great player. Anytime you're making a good run, the league just feels natural, normal, and right. So good luck in season 112, bud.
All right. Thank you, Nate, and for everything. I mean, yeah, love being here. You're the best. I mean, you're just perfectly suited for the job you do, and you do it well. Thank you.
I appreciate it, buddy. Well, there you have it, Colin of the Chicago Bears. I can't wait to see that division. Tim always talks trash. I love it. It's like lovable trash, right? It's like, what's going on here? I'm answering questions in the middle of a press conference that I haven't read a thing. I don't know what I'm answering. I don't know what I'm setting myself up for here, but it probably won't be good. Hopefully,
I'm trying to live up to my standards.
Well, you know, come on, man. Those are tough standards to live by, but we'll see if he can make it up there. I think we got one more, Mr. Penguins, and then Trey's here. Might as well ask him a couple of questions. Mr. Penguins, you still got time for us? I just killed the morale of my team by 10, and I have no clue what I did. I literally was just answering questions. I wasn't reading them. I just was picking things. I can't. You should. Oh God. I wish I could reset that. Let's welcome in the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mr. Penguins. Penguins, how you doing tonight, bud?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. Let's talk about your team, man. What was the one goal, strategy, thing that you had to fix for the Steelers as you moved into this business season?
Everything. That sucked, man. That was a rough go.
Brother, I won 3 games. I had the number 1 pick. Who you talking to?
I traded my first round pick and bet on myself, and then had to trade Maniac to get back into the first round.
What was a one thing, though? The thing that you're like, man, we got to fix this as we move into the new season?
I didn't do a good job passing the ball at all, and I started obviously having too many turnovers. I didn't adapt very well to this game. I didn't put the time in ahead of time. I was playing too much college football with the boys. I didn't adapt well to it this year, and I didn't pick it up as well as I would have thought.
What do you feel about the draft? You gathered a lot of picks. I love your strategy, especially as you're trying to rebuild a roster, get younger, just kind of have some depth, helps on special teams, getting those late picks. How do you feel about your draft now it's over?
It could have been better. It wasn't the worst draft I've ever had. I'm usually not the best drafting owner in the league by any means. So overall, it wasn't the worst, but it obviously could have been better. But it filled some depth and it filled a few spots, so it's not bad.
Maniac, what you got for our guy Penguins?
So since we traded, what was the pick that you got for me? Who'd you end up picking with that? I don't remember.
I just picked up Boone, the right tackle. I just filled an offensive lineman spot. By the time the pick came around, everything I had on my list was gone.
Oh, wow. Did he end up being anything good or just?
Yeah, he was
solid?
a hidden dev. He was about 75 overall. I mean, he's serviceable. He's fine.
Yeah, that's all right. I don't feel too bad now. I thought, if you end up getting a hidden dev 99 speed wide receiver or something, then I might be kicking myself. But at least
you didn't miss nothing. I took the safe pick there. You didn't miss nothing.
Looking at your draft and then also what you got in free agency. Do you think you've put the nucleus together to really compete in the AFC North? I know it's probably like one of the toughest divisions in this league, top to bottom. Do you think you've done enough to really be able to compete?
I think I'll definitely be more competitive this go around. Whether or not I'll contend for the number one spot, I don't know yet. I'm not gonna sell myself short there or anything. I bet on myself last year and it didn't work out too well, so I got to put in the time and figure it out.
Yeah, it's like I said, top to bottom over there, and I've played. In fact, I've played all you guys. I think the last season, except for maybe Little Koch. I didn't play the Bengals, but I know I played Baltimore, and I played the Browns in the playoffs, and each of those guys were tough. I'm not sure if I played you or not. I may have not played you, but I know top to bottom, though, that league, you guys in that division are just really top notch. And I know with like each franchise, like how's your quarterback situation looking over there? I know it seems like a lot of guys are kind of scrambling with either trying to get a young guy or a guy that's solidified already there. So what's kind of your approach with the quarterback situation? Are you happy with that, or is that something that you're going to be looking at trying to address later on?
I'm pretty happy with mine. I re-signed Fields. I put a lot of time into him, and he did pretty well. He wasn't the reason I was losing games. He wasn't missing anything horrible. It was mainly just my lack of reads and my poor play calling, and could have obviously used some better situational awareness, and I lost a lot of games by less than 7 points. I didn't close games very well, and I didn't get off the field on defense when I needed to. I missed on all the key things to win games here, and you can't do that. But I feel good about my quarterback, and I got him in at about 28 to 30 mil a year. So for the OMFL average, that's pretty fair.
Yeah, that's really a good bargain, especially if you got a guy that you can play with and be competitive with. So I know we're kind of winding down, so I'll leave it at that. But I just want to say, hey, good luck on your season coming up. I know it's going to be a competitive one over there, so good luck, and looking forward to watching some of your guys' games because they're always entertaining.
Hey, thanks, man.
Mr. Penguins, you've heard me ask this a couple of different times. You've been here a little bit, but what is a position of strength that is a surprise that maybe people are not expecting to be a position of strength, but you think as you roll into the new season is going to catch people?
Probably offensive line. Typically, the Steelers don't have the greatest offensive line over the course of the years, and it's a young offensive line, and they played pretty well for me last year. I ran the ball pretty solidly behind them, so I'm actually pretty excited about that.
Give me a prediction. What do you think is going to happen with this team?
I got to get my tail to 500. Are you kidding me? I'll be happy if we can get over 500. We got some work to do. That was humbling, Nate. That was horrible.
You singing to the choir over here. I know what you're talking about.
Way to read the room, right?
You've got a couple trophies on the stand. I just got one, and it was so long ago. None of you were even around when I won that thing. I don't even have a physical trophy. That's how long ago. It's before we started buying those things. Well, Penguins, I know that you will get that defense roaring. It is what you are so good at. You will get that offense figured out, especially if the offensive line is a strength. I think your team will be way beyond just a 500 team. Good, strong offense. You can do quarterback. You can do running back. You're good at that. You're a great play caller. It's the defense that I think is going to be the turnaround for you. With all these picks, I think you'll be able to do that. So we're pulling for you, man. Appreciate you making time to come be with us, and looking forward to see what you do in season 112.
Hey, thanks. Thanks, Nate.
There you have it, Mr. Penguins of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Listen, I still remember the game playing that fella. Every snap, it was like a Christmas tree exploding on the defensive side. He had so many superstar and star players and X factors and everything else. The coach, I think, lit up whenever he snapped the ball. He's going to get that defense turned around. Mr. Trey, you might as well pop in here, and you've been checking us out here tonight, hopping in. It's always a catch-22 when I say this. It's like, hopefully we can get you back in here one day, but then it's like, well, then that means somebody's got to leave, and that's usually never a good thing. But hopefully one day you'll be able to be back home where you belong. Did you get to watch the draft? You were just listening in. Any sort of overall thoughts about Madden 25's first draft of season 112?
I didn't realize it was draft night until I saw it. I logged on to the app and saw there was a bunch of people in the chat, and I'm like, oh, that usually means it's draft night.
Is it hard watching your lines?
I've been patiently sitting back wondering what Tim's doing, but in the real life, no.
Yeah, not real life. No, we're talking about Madden. Has there been any DMs about like, hey, maybe you should do A, B, and C with my team over there?
Those DMs in the Madden 24, Tim got a whole new sports car that I don't know if he's going to be able to fully build, but that's Tim's decision, not mine.
Yeah, he did take over a sports car that was rocking and rolling last night. I was surprised by his imports. I was surprised he brought over the middle linebacker. He had so many other playmakers. I thought for sure he'd be bringing some more of those over. Madden 25, are you still in the NBC? How's your season going?
Yeah, I ended short of an NBC goal tonight to Twinkie. But
to Twinkie, you said, right?
To Twinkie?
Yeah.
You see, this is what I'm talking about. This is like he's always right there. It's good to hear they put it together.
Yeah, Twinkie and his Eagles beat me in the NFC Championship, and I learned very much that Jalen Hurts is a pain in the ass.
He is. He absolutely is. But he's not even a thing here in the OMFL. I think he's either on the streets or on the bench. He's already replaced him over here. How's life? How's things going?
Oh, good. Just playing some college football in the deuce. Fell short in the conference or in the national championship there, so I'm just on a string of bad luck championship games this past week. So.
At least you're in the championship games. Well, you're gonna have to come visit us on Press Pass Live. I know early on when you needed your break, we talked about doing that, and then we sort of got away from it. But you have to come and pop in and give us some outsider's perspective of how people's seasons are going.
Perfect, and I'm waiting for that one person that just says, you know what, I'm taking a break, and I'm walking in, and I'm never leaving again.
It's going to be the Rams. I see it coming. It's going to be the Rams. You're going to get stuck with the stupid Rams.
Of course, now Stafford's gone. The only quarterback I would have wanted.
That would be a fun division, though. Trey, D-Money, Meek. Like, that would be sort of kind of fun to see how that one played out.
That's the division that you're watching. First.
Didn't you have the Rams at one point in this league?
No, I went from Panthers to Eagles to my Lions, and I stuck there until I left.
That's what it was. Panthers, Eagles. That's what it was. That's right. Well, I just seen Mr. D-Money pop in. Did D-Money hit you up? Is this, are we just like taking a break from feeding the baby? Did he say he wants to be on the show?
No, he didn't say anything, but I just seen him pop in too. So
more than welcome. If you're just here to listen, we're wrapping things up, but you're more than welcome if you want us to do a quick little interview. We can do that. You just got to unmute yourself. I'll keep an eye on the unmute here in the next 30 seconds or so. All right, here's what we're doing. We're on stage number 1. I have paused all FA signings. I seen he unmuted himself, so I'll come back to you here, D-Money, in just a second. But we've paused all FA signings because these drafts last so late. I kind of want to keep some of those undrafted free agents like as fair game. So what's going to happen is we will open it up tomorrow afternoon. I will set a time so that everybody knows it. I'll announce it. So tomorrow afternoon, we will open up for a few hours all FA signings. Tomorrow night, I need to go look at the times I've already posted. We will advance to the last week of preseason so you can play your game if you have guys around, or if you get guys around tomorrow afternoon. You can play your week 1 preseason game. We've paused in this time for you to do your training camp. That's the main kind of set. Move your roster around, do your training camp, leave free agents alone. If you want to play your game in your starter position, go sign the lowest position, play your game. After your game, cut the position. It's not going to cost you anything. It's not going to hurt your team. We're going to say free agents to open up tomorrow afternoon. Now, if they are above a certain amount, again, I need to go look at FPR too. I forget what the amount is. I think it's 75 and overall and above. You can start putting in those bids now, and we'll start closing those, tomorrow. I've been talking for 8 hours. I finally had a burp. You can start putting in those FA waiver bids for those players. I'll announce all this in chat. I need to go look at the numbers unless Maniac happens to have it here handy. But we'll look at those numbers announced. That's the plan. Do your training camp. Move your roster around. No free agent signings. If it's a waiver bid, you can put that in. And then we'll open up free agencies tomorrow for everybody, even for the ones you don't need to put a bid in. We'll start closing bids tomorrow. And we will advance to week number 4 so everybody can set their preseason, set their rosters and set their practice squads and get their teams ready to go. And week number 1 will start on Saturday, hopefully early. Hopefully we don't have to wait all day. Hopefully people can get their teams ready, and the new season will begin on Saturday. Mr. Maniac, do you happen to have those numbers handy?
I was looking. The form still shows 66.
Yeah, maybe the form isn't changed. I think we changed it in FPR. Let me look real quick. I'm not far from it, and then we'll bring Mr. D Money in while I look for this. Let me look really fast. It will be under FPR. It will be under.
I'm pretty sure it's 75 and up. You have to make a.
Here we go. I think
a
you might be right.
And then 74 and under.
Let's see if we can confirm, though, because Nate says all kinds of stupid stuff. Remember, your cap penalty for season 2, that's this one, is $20 million. You can earn $5 more million in gold, 2 more in silver, 1 more in bronze. I will announce all of those tomorrow, but you should know what you were able to earn. Trades do not reset until next business season. Practice squads will be changing. I need to edit that. Yes, 75 overall and above, you need a waiver wire. 74 overall and below, you can sign without a waiver wire. It's free for all, but that is not open yet until I open that up tomorrow. Again, I want to give everybody time to go to work, do their thing. It's not going to be perfect for everybody, but I want to try to keep it as fair as we can. This is pretty late for a lot of guys, and so I want to kind of keep it fair. D-Money, let's bring you in. Let's welcome in the coach of the San Francisco 49ers, owner of more championships than I even have fingers or toes to be able to count. D-Money, how you doing today, bud?
Good. How you doing, Nate? Can you hear me?
We can. How's baby doing?
Baby's good. He's way too smart for 9 months old. It's crazy.
It is crazy that it's already been 9 months, man. It flashes. He's going to be 19 before you know it. Let's talk about your team. You are not a team that we usually see not making the playoffs. That's probably happened on less times than any of us could ever remember. What was your number one goal moving into the business season of things you wanted to improve for your team?
Probably the quarterback. Playing with Brock and that 85 throw power was just brutal. Generally, I have guys that are low 90s at least that can move. He's not a statue, but slow and bad throw power. It was a nightmare. And I was a little lazy, I guess, this first season. I didn't make a playbook. I just kind of used the stock stuff. And I think that kind of held me back. So I'm gonna take some time. I'm gonna get it all right. This new quarterback, I'll probably play with him. I haven't seen the attributes and all that yet, but addressing the quarterback and then just kind of filling some holes.
What was the overall sort of thoughts or processes about the draft? Are we happy with it? Did we get the positions of need? How do we feel about the draft?
Yeah, I mean, I had way too many picks. Right before we started, I traded 3 picks to Priest for a young linebacker. Otherwise, I would have had like 12 picks in the first 4 rounds or something stupid.
Oh gosh.
I just didn't need that much. So the first round, I wanted that 6'4" corner. I know I don't need it, but I'm addicted. The Dolphins took him right before my pick. But the guy I got, the other corner, is really, really good. Fast, had A coverages. So it may allow me to move an older corner to like safety or something. And then I took Dwayne's quarterback. Sorry, buddy. I didn't mean to. I really didn't think any quarterbacks would go in the first round. I didn't think the Jets would take one at 4 because they're just, I mean, the quarterbacks are kind of weak. But yeah, the guy I got is fast. I'll probably, something I did different this time. I saved some of the platinum incentives. Usually I just kind of use them all at the beginning. So I'll be able to bump him to like 90 throw power and then bump up, throw under pressure, stuff like that if I want to. So, and then I got some O-line that were really good in the middle rounds, which helps because they're cheap. So yeah, overall, I think it was great.
Maniac, what you got for our guy D-Money?
Hey, D-Money, look like I was just kind of looking through your draft. Looked like you had a really solid draft. Definitely, I think to the guys that are going to make a huge impact. I actually called it probably 6-7 seconds before you picked.
Yeah,
because I was going through what you pick, and I said, well, and there's a quarterback that's got some speed. I know he likes to scramble around a little bit, and all of a sudden there comes a pick, and I was like, oh, there it is. So, he's definitely kind of fits your mold for a quarterback. And but like you were talking about, a couple of those offensive linemen were actually just complete steals at where you got them at and stuff. And so, I mean, kudos to you for really rebuilding your offensive line. The one guy I wanted to kind of touch on, though, is the running back that you picked up, Scarborough. He just looks like he's going to be a beast, man. 94 speed, 95 acceleration, and 91 agility. And then change of directions, 92. So just he's got good size. It's not like he's just a little small dinky dude. He's got some bulk to him as well. So what's your feeling about that guy? Is he kind of really going to be kind of like the bell cow for you going forward? Kind of like what you did with CMC, or are you going to go more committee type running back?
I forgot about him. He was like a last second, oh shoot, I forgot I traded CMC. I need a backup. But yeah, his attributes ended up being okay, this guy should start. But Garendo is so good. I think he's low 80s strength, and he's as fast as this Scarborough guy. So I mean, Garendo's still going to start. He's going to get the bulk, but when we get in that 20 to 25% of the runs with somebody else, it's going to be nice to have that guy.
Yeah, because I know injuries and stuff, and I think Garendo was injured, I think, this last season. So
yeah,
it's nice to have a guy to step in and almost just kind of take up so you're not having a drop off there. I know we played the one game of the season, and I think I was I beat you, and I told you afterwards that the first time I think I beat you out of 12 tries or something like that. So I was all excited, and then you told me, you said, well, I think the baby may have helped you a little bit too. So I was like, man, I need to give him a raise or something, So, but just speaking as a father to father that likes to play games, there can be some challenges, being a dad and trying to be competitive. So just kind of, if you want to, just tell us how you kind of juggle that sometimes with being competitive and I know all my kids are grown up now and stuff. I'm an old man. I got gray whiskers and stuff, but I know just hearing sometimes from the young guys, it kind of brings back memories of what I've went through.
Yeah, generally it's fine, but my wife travels a lot for work, so I've got him, and I work from home, and then if he's up, I've got this big setup in the living room. Usually he's fine. Sometimes it's he starts screaming, and I got to put the controller down. But it doesn't happen that often. I can't remember if I had him when you and I played. I do remember being up 21-0 and then throwing picks like crazy. But that was the story of my season with Brock, is interceptions, and I think he had 30 plus. I've never thrown 30 interceptions. But I remember that being part of our game. Yeah,
that was very uncharacteristic from you and stuff. And I know when you've got a player that doesn't fit your style, it can work on you mentally as well. So I'm sure that was kind of one of the things that you were going through as well. But man, I know we're gonna see you back in the top of things this next season. So good luck to you, and a great draft. Like I said, you got some solid players that you're gonna be able to build.
Thanks. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
D-Money, let's talk about your division, man. What's it like playing in that division? And then I think I got a follow-up question that might raise some ears, but what's it like playing in that division?
It's fun. Always tough, but it's fun. Meek and I go back and forth. I love that he traded DK.
I bet you do.
I was happy to see that. The wide receiver he got in the draft is really good. I had my eye on him too, but he's no DK yet. So, and then Joker and I usually have some pretty close games. I generally take those. He got me in the last one. And then, the Rams have been a revolving door. So hopefully, Logan, I think his name is, right?
Yeah.
He sticks around because we played and he was solid. So, if he does stick around, it's going to be a really tough division. But it's a lot of fun.
I want to talk about Meek specifically. You probably knew I was going to go here. You were Meek's thorn in his side. Like, he'd always get you over in the regular season, but when it came to when it counted, you were sort of the thorn in his side. And when you didn't make the playoffs, a lot of us thought that maybe this guy is the season he can make the run. He's got the team. He doesn't have his sort of arch nemesis there. But then he fell flat. What keeps the Seahawks from making a run all the way to a bowl game?
I know. I don't know, because he's so good. This may not be it, but the only thing I can think of is because he's lost in the playoffs a bunch of times, he plays tight.
Yeah.
And that can do it. And I think the reason I've had success in the playoffs is because I've won enough. If I lose, I don't care. Like, it's just fun. So, I may pass on 3rd and 1 and throw a bomb just because, like, hey, they're probably thinking I'm going to run, and I don't care. Let's just see what happens, So that's the only thing I've ever thought of, is that maybe he plays a little tight.
D-Money, what's it going to take for your team? We know the quarterback, we know the interceptions, but what are you really thinking is going to happen to your team to go ahead and compete where you normally are at the top of the NFC?
Yeah, the quarterback play, obviously, drop the interceptions. I got to cut those in half, and I'm sure I will. But interceptions. I'm gonna make a playbook. I keep saying that, and then I go to do it. I hate it so much.
Yeah, it sucks.
Going through it. I have FOMO, like, oh, I'm missing a play, and I go through every single one. It takes so long, and I just hate it. But I'm going to do it. Also, I'll do that, cut down on the interceptions. Had a solid draft, filled a bunch of holes I needed to, I think. Got some good depth. Then we'll go from there.
Well, D-Money, I'm not pulling for you. I hope that you don't figure it out. And it was great to see somebody else win a trophy that I didn't send to your house, because they don't give me discounts for as many I've sent to your house. I figured there'd be some kind of like, oh yeah, we know what we're doing here, but no discounts.
I was going to tell you, where I keep them all, or a bunch of them, the little guy is now able to stand, pull himself up, and he grabbed a bunch of them and just started throwing them around.
That's amazing. Well, man, good luck this season. We know that you're going to be right there, causing the rest of us to wonder why we even turned this game on. But thanks for making time for us. Thanks for pushing through with the baby boy. And yeah, thanks for being here tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Have a good night, guys.
There you have it, Mr. D-Money of the San Francisco 49ers. Trey, do you miss that fella?
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Just because it was always a fun chess match, but
yeah,
also it was a chess match where my toes felt like they were up my nose.
Yeah. I've only beaten him like twice in my 8 years I've known the guy, and they were he probably had the flu, was half drunk, and smoking weed. I don't know what was going on over there, but I took him. But it makes you sweat. Now, he makes you sweat through it a little bit. So it was good to have him on the show. I'm sure those 49ers are going to be right back again, causing us all a whole lot of havoc and a whole lot of heck. So we are at the end of the show. Maniac, why don't you put a little bow on this thing? Tie this thing up as we get off and go do our training camps until midnight.
Yeah, man, it was a great show, and I thought it was a lot of fun. We saw a lot of guys have a pretty decent draft. I think there's a lot of guys that really improved a lot. I think, again, like with the excitement this brings, it's the new thing for the new season, and everybody has a little bit of hope. Even though you may not have a whole lot of hope, you got a little bit of hope of things will be improved from the previous season. Now, we all know there's a few times after week 3,
it's gone by
3 and
week
4,
1.
all those new hopes are dashed.
It's over by week 1 for some of us.
But as of now, there's hope. So everybody, cling on to the hope, have fun. Because if I can make it back to a bowl game, and it's been 5 Maddens ago, which I don't know how many seasons that would be spaced in between
15?
that. So yeah, at least. So anybody can get back to it. So I've really enjoyed my season, had fun playing Dwayne, and I'm looking forward to competing again. Hopefully I can get back there, but if not, hey, at least I got back there and had fun doing it, and going to continue to have fun in such a great league. And Nate, thanks for all you do, all the stuff that you go through to put all the stuff together, the graphics, and then all the different things, the shows that you put on. I know it just don't happen by chance. It takes time and effort, and I appreciate you and your dedication to making all that you do for the league and for the guys that are here that enjoy the things that you're putting together. So I'm just glad to be a part of it.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. Appreciate good to see Trey. I miss him around. We had our moments, Trey, but I feel like we always work through our moments, and yeah, it's just not quite the same without Trey's voice and chatting. So anytime you pop in, I see it, and even if I don't say anything, I do appreciate seeing you around. You're always one of our most active people. You always have an open ticket to join us on Monday nights anytime you're free and you feel like you want to pop in. It's been great. Thank you, Maniac. These things are a whole lot more boring when it's just me sitting here. And so I see you guys for jumping in and helping me. Thanks for all the owners. I had a lot of interviews tonight. That was a ton of fun. The chat was full. It was good. It was a good night. And I feel like we got through the draft pretty quick. It's only been an hour or 3.5 hours. And that's with a 30-minute pre-show. So we got through the whole draft in 2.5-ish hours, 2 hours and 40 minutes. It's not too bad. We did a pretty good job. So
not bad at all.
Well, guys, take care of yourselves. Know that you matter to me. Take care of those around you. I love you. Thank you for hanging out. The schedules are posted. We're here to do training camp for the rest of the night. I'm tired of talking, and I've had to pee for like the last hour and a half. And as a 45-year-old man with a bladder, it feels like it's going to fall out of me. I can't be doing this. So I'm going to pee. Then I'm going to be in here doing some training camp. Take care of yourselves, guys. We'll see you. I don't know when we'll see you. I guess we'll see you Saturday. I don't know. Something like that. Till then, take care of yourselves. We'll see you. Peace.
Doses.
Smash that like and subscribe.